Ladies and gentlemen, start your animals.
Yeah, the it's like the old Looney Tunes cartoons where the tails are like the crank engine in the car, you know. That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, it's the Midjourney Bring Your Pet stream. So be sure to have the photos good to go. Let me just quickly explain how things work here for anybody who's new. Um, there is a let me mute this really quick. Okay. All right. So there are two different channels right above the stage here in Discord. So you have us on the stage here. You have VC Create and VC Text. And the VC Create is where we're going to be able to prompt together. So you can submit your cats here or your dogs or whatever pets you got. Submit them to VC Create. And that's where, I'll see them right off the bat here. But you can also jump over to VC Text, which is right above it. And I have it here on the left side of my screen for you. And that will let you chat with us. So anything you guys talk about will end up on YouTube and whatnot. So feel free to, say hey, do that kind of stuff if that's what you're into. Yeah, today is going to be a really, really silly stream. I feel like, the folks who have been looking forward to this for a little bit, especially when it comes to doing like anything anthropomorphic in general. This stream will kind of cover some of that at least. So, and thank you so much for Kinky and Ancient for joining us today.
You're welcome.
What is it? It's always so much better to do this. Like that's one of the reasons I don't stream on Twitch a lot, honestly, is like, and not only am I kind of lost in my own head and stuff and hard for me to kind of get into a social mood, but the other part is it's hard not having co-hosts and stuff. It's hard to just be on your own doing that stuff. So I always appreciate when Rhapsody or Fran or anyone else that is my friend kind of hops on and helps me out with that stuff. So yeah, and yes, she certainly does have a pet dragon. So we're going to be going through not just mammals but also reptiles today. Because of Rhapsody. So if anyone else has any other like pets, including like horses and stuff, we can mess with those too. Yes, everything here is recorded and put onto YouTube eventually. It takes me about a week to 2 weeks, honestly, to do it, just because I've been juggling a lot of stuff. But you can catch it on YouTube by searching for Victor Gnarly. And there will be links that pop up from Kinky inside of the VC Text as well.
I just need to open my window real quick and get that on.
So I'm gonna start this off. Fungi Mancer. We got our first pets in. We got Fungi Mancer, and we'll go through my pets too. I got 2 dogs and a cat to show you guys today. But we got some pretty kitties here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. So what are these guys' names here? Ooh, there's even a bunny. Awesome. So let's see here. And then we got this handsome gentleman of a cat, I think. It looks like a boy. No, it's a calico. It's probably a girl. Oh, Happy Kitten sending us a screaming cat here. I love this. Be sure to include the names too. I want to know their names. And Danielle. Oh, I like this very patriotic puppy. Awesome. This is Marley. Oh, Marley is cute. Okay. All right. So this is what I'm gonna do. We're gonna start off with Marley here. And let's just go right into it. So what we can do with your pet photos and stuff is that we can essentially do either an image blend or like I wouldn't really recommend a style reference because it's just going to kind of look at arbitrary things in your photos. And we'll be able to instead use them as character references, which is probably the more exciting thing from what we're going to do today. And I see that Rhapsody has included her dragon. This is Jack. We will have plenty of fun messing with Jack a little later here today. You'll notice that with character referencing particularly, it's going to preserve poses pretty well. So like shots like this, we could do like an overhead of a city and have them kind of Godzilla around. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be some neat stuff for that. So we'll start off with Marley here though, and then I'll hop back up and then we'll work our way down here. So first thing I'm going to do is show you guys what an image blend looks like versus a character reference. So we're just going to go with, and I don't know what kind of dog Marley is here, Danielle, but a very cute dog. Ooh, Tootie's cute too. Oh, I can't wait to dig through all these. I'm going to be so easily distracted today. Okay, so what I'm going to do though is going to say patriotic pup. And we're going to do, let's start with Niji 6, and then we'll also do a V6 depending on how the results look. Oh, a sheepadoodle. It's a sheepdog. Okay, cool. It's helpful to know like not just like names, but like the breeds and stuff too, because Midjourney actually knows a lot of context based on the words, especially like your all's like weird like mixed like sheepadoodle and stuff like that. It'll do some really funny stuff with those kind of you know, words and whatnot. But when it comes to doing just an image blend, what it's essentially doing is it's taking the words that are inside of patriotic pup, like all the context of patriotic pup, and then blending it with your image about 50-50. So whatever number of words that are in there, all gets considered like a value basically. And we can arbitrarily like force that value, but you could notice that the dog changes pretty dramatically. Like it doesn't have, it's definitely not a sheepadoodle anymore. So when it comes to, you know, getting, you know, your dog back to show back up there, we can actually use the dog as a character reference. So what I'm going to do is actually delete the link at the front of the prompt, and I'm going to add --cref and then paste the link again at the end. And this should use Marley as a character reference. So we can now submit this and take a look. Oh my god, all the cute animals. Oh my god, it's so cute. But let's go ahead and see what patriotic pup does here with a character reference set for Marley. And look at that. It's way closer, right? Like it's pretty spot on when it comes to trying to capture, I would say the disposition of your dog. The green hair is a bit interesting. Let me actually check under the original photo here. Oh, it's the feathery doodad that, oh, it's the hair. That's right. They kind of tie up those dogs, with little like, ponytail in the front. That's cute. There you go. It's definitely, you know, like I would say the fourth one's probably the closest out of all these. Oh my, herding sheepdog from Ancient, and the word, you know, sheep gets mixed in there, and it's because it's a character reference, it's gonna try to superimpose it as the person who's like the sheep herder, right? So this is one of the funnier things about character referencing is it's when it picks the wrong subject for it. It's always pretty funny to me.
Out of curiosity, do you think like if you put sheep-dog herding, that would change things?
Oh yeah,
because I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah, like if I did like sheep, like yeah, herding sheep.
Oh no, the word sheepdog wasn't in there. Okay.
Yeah. There. Okay. I see. All right. So let's.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Let's get our first two in here. I want to show Happy Kitten here. This is great. I love screaming cats. So let's go ahead and try this one as a character reference so that you guys can see just how much influence the character reference has. And we'll do this. We'll do this one as a not as a Niji, just because you could see Niji is adding all sorts of like artistic liberties to like the more drawn aesthetic, while with V6 it's going to be more photorealistic. Okay, so we could try to do Let's just do hungry screaming cat. Let's just do screaming cat. And we have your kitty as a CREF here, and I can just now hit submit, and we'll see what the V6 version of this looks like here. And it'll probably notice that it's an orange cat and do a very similar pose. Yes, it did. Let's see here. Okay. And I will say that, as with most AI stuff, anything that's like repeating, but like teeth, for example, they usually require some amount of in painting to get them, looking right. I'm sorry if some of these kind of come out a bit taxidermied when it comes to V6, because that's one of the main complaints that AI has, which is that it kind of has this like glaze on the eyes, like it doesn't really look like they're living, right? So we might lean more towards Niji 6 because of that effect. I just wanted to show you guys, like, it ranges. Like, I can't really control whether or not it's going to be necessarily a pleasant image of your pet. But if we stick to Niji, we are far more likely to get really, really fun stuff. Or at least, at the very least, make sure the prompts are fun, right? Like, look at this. Pup leading a space exploration. And it's so much better because the context is just so much more fanciful, right? And so, yeah, I think this is super fun. We can start to bring it into all sorts of different spaces using style referencing, but I want to make sure that we cover Fungi Mancer's pets here as well. And feel free to remix and change around any of these results, guys. There's a lot of really cool stuff that we can do just by seeing what you guys do with them, right? So it's like, with perfect example was the space exploration one. Perfect. Hey, look, there's me. I love screaming cats. Yeah, and you may not hear her very much today. I will be bringing out my cat. She turned 20 last week. And my dog Cooper actually turns 9 or 10. I think it's 9 tomorrow. So I got 2 June babies. So let's go ahead and get some of Fungi Mancer's pets in here as well. So there is something funny that you can do with image blending in particular. I promise I'll do something else with your pets too, Fungi Mancer. I just want to show what image blending does. So you can use 2 images, and we'll just slap those together, and then go from there. Let's see, Kazi said, "Happy birthday to your June babies." Oh, they'll appreciate it. They'll get some sort of treat, I promise. And yes, that is an amazing age. I'm very, very thankful for having her for as long as I've had her since high school. So look at this. Look at this bunny cat, this calico bunny cat. And this is all done by using image blending. And so if you do not include any words in your prompt, as I did here, you see it's only 2 links. What essentially happens is it finds the semantic like midpoint between the 2 pictures, and it doesn't include any of like Midjourney's like prompting knowledge in terms of the because you're just not including it. It's just these images. So blending actually has a lot of utility when it comes to just discovering things. It's a rabbit cat. Yeah, exactly. I love doing blending for just exploring different potential species of animals, for example. There's some really funny stuff that we can do. And I could see that Rhapsody's iguana is already taken over. It's oh, wow, look at the bunny. A giant bunny of wisdom, tall as a mountain, is watching over the fantasy land. Look at that. So let's see here. I'm gonna answer some questions here. And then I'll
Giant bunny of wisdom.
Right. I'm going to answer a few questions here just because I can see there's a couple questions. Let's see here from Kazi, beginner here. Where do you get the HTTP links? Okay, so the easiest way to do that is by taking any photo, and I'll use one of mine this time so that you guys can start to see my pets anyway. You just paste the image inside of Discord, and that will get you a link for it. So inside of my desktop here, I got my pets, and I'll start. I'm gonna end it with my 20-year-old cat. I'll start with the derpy young one. This is my dog Ziggy. He's real goofy. He thinks sometimes he thinks he's a cat. Sometimes he thinks he is like the biggest guardian in the world or whatever. But I'm gonna post 5 photos of him here. So this is Ziggy. He's an Australian Shepherd, and basically, what I love about this dog is that he's just a big oaf. He's a big idiot, and he's a very lovable idiot. I love this dog. He does have a little bit of fence aggression, but otherwise he's a sweetheart. So, but you can see I just posted the link and then submitted it to Discord. And if I open it in browser, or you open it in your phone and it says like copy link, right? You can grab the link to this image, and then I just write anything. So like let's do at the dog park, and then --cref, and then paste the link, and we should see a somewhat Australian Shepherd looking dog at the dog park. And yep, that's very close to my dog Ziggy. All right. The bottom right one here is pretty spot on to him. That's great. So he doesn't have a tail though. That's one of the things you gotta like take the context of the stuff that you will never know. What did you guys do here? What did Nixie? Nixie's doing some really cute tiny animal, like what do you call it, like fairy forest stuff. Let's see, fluffy bunny calico critters. Oh, that's cute. So the thing is that we have been running this at like basically like full character weight, as in whatever's in your image that you're using as the character weight is going to be taken very, very faithfully. Okay, so let's give an example using one of the more obscure pictures of my dog Ziggy here, which is him in his thunder sweater. He doesn't really need it anymore. He's grown out of being afraid of thunder, but he always wore my big long like I forgot what store that was. Like Hot Topic. I mean, we used to wear my old Hot Topic striped shirt. So if I now run that as a character reference, so I think it'd be pretty fun if we just said he was working the field. No, that would be. I'll just say that he's in prison. He got himself in trouble. So I'm gonna show you guys what happens when you weight things. Oh, look at Ziggy in space. Zoom. That's great. He is named after Ziggy from the little computer from the time travel thing. I'm blanking on it right now. I really shouldn't be blanking on it.
Ziggy, from Quantum Leap.
Yeah, Quantum Leap. Thank you so much. Yeah, Quantum Leap. Everyone's gonna start yelling Quantum Leap now. Yes. It's Quantum Leap, and it is so funny because like my wife's mother was like Ziggy Stardust, and then there's Ziggy Marley, and there's all these other guesses, and we're like, nope, it's just the computer. Okay, all right. So we could see here that because of the context of like we basically didn't describe it as a dog at all. It saw this shirt more than anything else. We really didn't get Ziggy at all in this. It really just saw the shirt and left it at that. So maybe not the greatest example of what I want to show, because I really want to show what character weighting does. So let's grab a new pet here. Let's see here. I love all the screaming animals. I want to grab one up from earlier here, and then I'll start playing around with Rhapsody's Iguana Jack. Let's see here. Okay. Let's do this little golden retriever puppy because he's so tiny. So tiny. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm definitely having a good day. This is going to be a fun stream. All right, let's try this puppy as a character reference, and then we'll just say that he's a Labrador. Let's say that, let's put him something unusual here. Ooh, we got a new pet. 0. Meet Bash, Wisteria, Vanilla Bean, and Cookie. Okay, this one's Bash. Vanilla Bean. No, Wisteria. This one's Wisteria. Vanilla Bean. I could tell that one's Vanilla Bean. And then Cookie. Okay, yes, all your dogs are great. Oh, look at all of them together. Okay, so we could maybe do something fun with these guys here in a second. So if I grab this little Labradoodle puppy though, and then I say that he's like, I'm trying to think of like maybe a scenario that makes sense for, let's say like sleeping in bed. Just because of the image, gonna try to lean to what's in the image here. We will be able to basically anthropomorphize a lot of the results just by dropping the character weight. And you'll see that some people are already doing that. Like they are setting their character weight to like 50 or 25 to try to bring in different aspects of, oh my God, that's it. That's some cute puppies. So you can see we got very literal, like, okay, we got the puppy. We got, look, I love the second one here. Look at that. And then we compare it to the original photo. Oops. There you go. Oops. Yeah. It's spot on. It's super, super good. Okay. But say we wanted to try something a little less literal to whatever's in this image here. Okay. Like say we wanted to do an image of like the puppy maybe sleeping with the sheets up or whatever, like kind of doing a little more anthropomorphic stuff. So if I come up here, hit reroll, I get my prompt again. I'm going to add --CW, and then any number between 0 and 100 can be applied here. If we set it to 0, it's going to be a very, very loose interpretation of whatever's inside of your character reference, to the point where your dog could become a person, you know? So we're just going to submit that and see what happens. Because we haven't described anything anatomically about this puppy or just the fact that it's sleeping in a bed. So we'll see what kind of comes up here. But it's like the story of like, you know, like someone's pet becomes a person, right? So if you look at the second image here, that's basically like Midjourney, like looking at all like the you know, the basic aspects of the image. Was a lot of white fur on white sheets, right? And then superimposing a person into there. So this is where you could start to anthro things up, because you can like start to get a value in between 0 and 100 that starts to incorporate aspects of your pet into a person. So I guess we're officially starting the furry part of the stream, because yeah, you guys have already gotten the ball rolling for that. And of course it's ancient. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do, oh, look at this. His portraiture, he is a wizard. Oh, kinky, this is a good one. I really like this one.
It keeps making my cat a dog, man. Oh, look at the link. Click the link.
Yeah, let's take a look. There you go.
But it keeps turning him into a dog.
Yeah, well, I think this is
maybe it's the wizardry.
Yeah,
It's the magic.
yeah. There you go. There you go. I would just write cat, and then instead of pet, like cat portraiture, and then that'll work better. Um, but like, okay, let's go ahead and start working with some of Zero's pets here. So what we can do is let's try to make a little anthro of Bash here. So what I'm gonna do is paste a CRF in there, but this time I'm going to set the character weight to something low but not 0. So we'll do 15. In the front of the prompt, I'm going to say a night at the round table. And we'll set the aspect ratio to 2:3 to kind of give us more of a vertical, portraiture of a person kind of a thing. Aspect ratio really helps control a lot of that stuff. And we'll do Niji 6 as well, just so you guys can see. But aspect ratio is like super, super powerful for dictating like the final result without over describing it. Like I tend to find that if I just change the aspect ratio of a prompt, I'll get closer to my intent sometimes. But you can see that when we set it to only 15, it's far more person than it is Bash, right? But if I set it to Niji, it's the interpretation of character reference is different between Niji and V6, and you'll find which one works better for you. But this is hilarious to me. That's your dog as a Black Knight. I love this. This is great. So feel free to spin off of this, but it also will introduce humanoid aspects to like their face and their hands and basically whatever kind of arbitrary things. It's just going to start swapping parts out if you pick a relatively low but not 0 character weight. Like you saw earlier, character weight of 0 tends to make it a completely human person, right? And look at Ziggy. No.
Aw, Ziggy.
I like this. This is pretty cool. Who made this? Lizzie. Of course Lizzie did it. That's awesome.
It's really nice.
Thank you, Lizzie. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Look at the Danielle just like going ham on this like early 90s aesthetic. That kind of what do you call that? Like muted pastel era of clothing. I remember that relatively fondly. I was still pretty young at that point, but yeah. Oh no, I'm reminded of that scene from Full Metal Alchemist. I actually joked about that when I was trying to figure out what to do for the stream banner, right, for this event. This banner right here. My original idea was to do the dad who alchemied his or transmutated his daughter into a dog. I was originally going to do that, but I was like, holy crap, that's way too dark. Way too dark for a Midjourney stream. So yeah, exactly. Yes. Well, what the dog doing? What the dog doing?
I'll do.
There you go.
Oh no.
Yeah. And there you go. Okay, cool. In terms of like how to like really utilize this stuff, I really like seeing my pets like made into like different art styles. Particularly, like we have a new thing that came out not that long ago, like yesterday, the day before. I have to look up exact date, but there is a new parameter called personalize. And you could see some people are messing with it because they'll have -P and then a code at the end of it. It's like a 7-digit code. And that is determined by ranking images inside of Midjourney. And so you get like a personalized code. What? the bearded lady on the bottom left is just making me giggle. And the bottom right too. That's too funny. Okay, sorry. So the personalization code is something where if you're ranking images, you can get that code after 200 ranks. It's very, very powerful. It can be used in combination with style reference, character reference, whatever, and it just leans our results significantly in a certain direction, preferably towards something you like. I'm loving all these vectors, by the way. I'll be sure to dig into these later. This is the taxidermy effect I was telling you guys about. If you use V6, there's always a chance that you're gonna get some horror show stuff kind of mixed in there, like pretty cursed stuff sometimes. What? Why is there an X on here, Nixie? Sorry about that. Ooh. Okay. Oh my God, this is Vivian. He's a Welsh Corgi. Okay, Reveille. All right, we'll do yours next. This cute Corgi puppy. Okay. So, let's try to get many. Let's try to clone your dog. So we'll do a CRF, paste, and then I'm going to say an army of corgis charging into battle. And I'm going to set the aspect ratio to 3:2 to kind of make it a little more cinematic. I like whenever you guys go hard on the more etchier, like beat up victors. Like this, I was actually responding to somebody on Twitch that was like, I like it when you get spicy. And I had to post a picture of of Victor just pointing at a whole bunch of salt, saying it's mostly salt. So I'm having a lot of fun with character referencing and responding on social media in particular. Oh, look at that Victorian lady with the head of a corgi. There you go. Yeah, you could literally just write your intent completely, and it will do usually a really good job. It's far less explorative in that way, but it definitely gets you to your goal a lot quicker by actually writing out prompts in full. Let's see. Did we get our army of corgis? Yes, we did. Okay. So we got our charging corgis here. And if we wanted to make it a little more a little more away from your pet, but potentially more interesting, or maybe a little more closer to the prompt itself, we'll drop that character weight like we showed earlier. Submit. I'm going to drop it to 15 on this one, and we should start to see like armor and because the talking about battle tends to be medieval, at least in my experience. Oh, there's so many Ziggies. Okay, look, okay, so we still got definitely strong corgis, but we got like way more like interesting perspective shots of the running and whatnot. So if I up-res this one really quick. Okay, now what we can do is try to do it with a zoom. We're going to set the character weight to 0. And we're going to say, with the head of a corgi, a Welsh corgi, the knight commands his army. Or like the Lord commands his army. Let's just go with that. We'll see. The Lord might introduce some Jesus imagery. We'll see what happens with that. Wait, you already up-resed it. Oh, okay, Kinky. And anytime there's a revolver or any kind of gun that gets brought into the equation, I am instantly drawn to it. I'm like,
hey. Yeah, drawn to the gun.
Exactly. Look what it did with the hand and the arm, and it made it furry, kind of like a gorilla's arm, right?
Let's try to get him in like old-timey Wild West photography.
It's so good. It's great. I love this one. Yeah, definitely when let's see what she did here too. So it's like, this one's just a straight character reference, but without mentioning that it's a cat at all. Basically, you're just letting character reference take over.
Yeah.
That's so great.
I think it's funny when it makes it a dog.
It's so funny.
And he's so muscular in that bottom, the number 4.
Let's take a look.
Muscly.
Yeah, right. Oh wow. Yeah, it's like a mink coat.
He's buff.
But he's like all buff. Oh wow. Ooh, it's good to see Enid. It's good to see you, Lord of Mort. Lord of Mort. Which, by the way, if we could probably prompt Lord of Mort and it'll give us just as much medieval stuff. This is let's see here. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining. So I want to do a quick shout out to everyone here. It is something that I recognize that this is we honestly couldn't do these streams without you guys. It's too much fun to be able to be finding new topics. This is all came up because my cat who's 20 just had her birthday, and you guys could not stop talking about the fact that she was screaming in the background. So it is certainly true that I might pull up the webcam so that you guys can actually see her. I might.
I didn't want you to forget her birthday party.
Right, exactly. So this is kind of her birthday, I guess. So let me grab her real quick. I'll post a couple pictures from her here. So I used to travel in a converted RV. It was a bus, like a short bus, and Towel here. Yes, her name is Towel. Her favorite spot was just to sit in the front windshield and absorb the heat. That was just her favorite thing. So she was oftentimes like, ogled at by other drivers. Like anybody who would like look at us while we were road tripping would just be like, oh wow, it's a cute little kitty. The thing is that she's incredibly small. She's kind of like a permanent kitten, right? She never really grew out of that 6 to 7 inch length. So she's very, very small. And I'm very thankful to still have her. And I can guarantee you that within the hour, she'll start screaming for food, in which case I'll probably turn on the webcam so you guys can take a look at her.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that especially this image here, she's just so derpy looking with this picture. I gotta just prompt derp, so I'm gonna do CREP derp, and we'll see what we get off of derp. And I will oftentimes throw in style raw as well, just to see if there's like any sort of like weirdness that it's able to. Oh my god! Oh no! It made her a fish. Oh no!
Oh boy! Poor Towel.
Poor Towel. Yeah, she's now a fish in a sweater. I am laughing. I am, yeah, right. I am laughing at the catfish in the sweater. It's too funny. So with style raw, it turned her into a dog. With also a derpy face. There's probably just more dogs labeled derp than cats, honestly. That's what I'm seeing here. So it's a cat's derp face. Let's see if we can bypass the understand too, with style raw, you could kind of tell a difference here. Style raw is giving us more like parts of an image, or like, just closer to like a clean intent, as opposed to the non-style raw version, which is adding a lot of artistic liberties, particularly towards the style, like towards the method, or the way that the character is being visualized for you. I prefer using style raw whenever I'm making comics, because it just gives me more consistent results. Even if those results aren't necessarily that creative, or as creative. Wow. Yeah, the fish is ridiculous. Derp, 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 derp. Okay, there we go. Okay, a cat's derp face. See, this is what it takes. Okay. If your pet doesn't show up right away, you just got to make sure you describe the pet at least a little bit, and then Midjourney can kind of figure out the rest. It's essentially eliminating or limiting the amount of latent spaces just around cats now, because I mentioned cat. And it oftentimes is able to kind of see some of her age too. Like the top right and bottom left images are they have a little bit of that older cat aesthetic, especially the top right one, where the fur is a little more splayed because they can't clean themselves as easily as they used to, and all that kind of stuff. Midjourney is really, really great at figuring out all that stuff. Why am I stuck in like in a towel? Like I look like I'm wrapped in tinfoil, and someone put me up on a pole somewhere. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. We finally got the full regalia from Reveille here of the corgi, Welsh corgi queen. I like this a lot. This is pretty cute. Awesome. Let's see. Lizzie said something here. Adorable. I had a cat for 24 years. Well, I was 11 when she died, but she was 24 at the time, and it was always special that they lived that long. Yeah, it very much is. I'm very fortunate to know, like, she's seen just about everything. She's as old as my relationship is with my wife, you know. So like, it is kind of incredible to think about it. I had a apartment when I was 17. I had just moved out. I graduated early from high school, and I got an apartment, and then I got about 2 weeks after working at Michael's Arts and Crafts store. There was a guy who was like, my cat just had kittens. Do you want them? And I'm like, I might want one. And he's like, okay, because I got to get rid of them. And I'm like, okay. I'll how old are they? He's like, she just had them. And I'm like, well, you have to wait. You know, they have to be weaned. And he was like, okay, I'll wait. Like, I was like really concerned for these cats. Like, I realized this guy was not a pet owner. He's very, very inexperienced in that regard or whatever, and just didn't really seem to have much of a care. And then I realized why about 3 weeks later. So he shows up at my door because I told him where I was living and whatnot. And he shows up and he has a towel in his hand. And he's like, I know you picked this one. And you told me I had to wait, like 6 weeks or whatever. But I'm going to prison tomorrow. So here you go. And I'm just like, okay, all right, okay. I'll take your way too young kitten from you. Okay. And that's Tao. She was very much way too young. She wasn't weaned, and so she's a little dumb. She's very dependent on food for love. Like, she just can't tell a difference sometimes. And yeah, I recognize that she's just a very lucky cat in that regard. But this was one of those things where love. Oh yeah. The whole part about going to prison is an absolutely lovely story, Rhapsody. I never found out why he went to prison, by the way. I only found he just told me, I'm going to prison tomorrow. Here you go. And I was like, okay.
It was nice though to make sure that the cat got somewhere, though. I mean, I guess
at the very least, he was, being proactive. I was appreciating that. But dog bartender.
What did he do with the mom? We should have made.
Well,
let you borrow her.
Yeah. It was the whole thing. Like I
know.
In a whole think about like trailer parks in general. Like that's where he was living and whatnot. I was nowhere near that stuff, but he was living in a trailer park, and you're a lot of things get mingled together when it comes to people living that close and that on top of each other. Okay, let me take a look at this though. Okay. Listing, I think you meant listening to a boring customer while bartending in the middle of the day. You could see that it threw a human face, like as if he's from the Bloodhound Gang on that the first image here. I'm just gonna upres that because it's just making me laugh. Why is there so many dead fish? Maka. I'm pretty sure those are images coming through from last night during Prompt Battles Royale. Ah, okay. I see. They had probably just some old prompts that didn't get processed or something, or
Yeah, I was watching that happen. I'm like, it's weird, but I don't want to say anything out loud because you were talking.
No, that makes sense. That I've had prompts render hours later. It's very rare, but it does happen, especially if there was some sort of server hiccup.
Uh,
Okay. Um, you look at but this is totally Bloodhound Gang. No, that's what I'm seeing out of this guy here.
oh my God, the face.
Yeah, the face is too funny to me. Um, let's see here. So the thing is, about let's see. Let me take a look at what you guys are doing here. Cat reaching for birthday cake. No. Yeah, that's definitely a very robust version of Towel. Like she's like, and I'll just double check that you used what picture you used. Oh, you used her in the bag. She's in the bag. So we can actually reinforce what she looks like by using multiple images inside of our character reference. So it's pretty cool. What you're going to do is we're going to refresh or re-roll this prompt just so we have one that we know what that works. And they use this image, but let's grab the other images of Towel really quick. That one just made me laugh because it was just a sudden like jump scare of derpy Towel. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna grab the other pictures of her. I thought I had those saved or open. We will do a chimera of all your all's pets by the time we're done with this, by the way. I think that'll be really funny to blend all of them together and see what kind of monster we end up with. But what we can do is we can blend as many images as we want inside of our character reference. I only have 2 accessible right now, so I'm going to submit that, and then I'm going to grab the other ones real quick. Let's find Towel again in the list here. I'm so used to calling her Towel, and then people are like, wait, your cat's name is Towel? I'm like, yes. Is it named after that South Park episode? No, she's older than that episode is. It's like, it's a little unfortunate that that it didn't take, I don't think it was that much older. I think it was like 6 months or 9 months later, South Park comes up with a big stoner episode about a character named Towley. And I was like, okay, all right, okay, fine. I guess my cat's named after that damn Towel now. Okay, so let's do a blend here. We've already done 2 of them, so let's get the other 4 images in there. We got this one. And then we got this one. This one should be a solid reference for her face. And the more images you add to blending, I think the less likely it's going to be like spot on for like minor details, but the more likely it's going to find other things that it otherwise wouldn't really get right. So like, for example, I'm seeing a consistent white notch in her face, which she has. If we look at her photo here, she has this kind of brick nose front, like or she has this really cute bridge of her nose that's just white, and you could see that it's trying to incorporate that, but it's most likely that the other the cowboy hat. It's most likely there's a lot of different angles that are convoluting or mixing up that information. So the more you blend, you can kind of find sweet spots of certain details, but I tend to stick to one master pose, one thing that really sells it well. Let's take a look at what Lordimort is doing here by mixing image blends, character referencing, and dropping the character weight to 0. So for the first image,
That's amazing.
it is amazing, and it's entirely done because they grab this image here. Okay. Again, image blending is going to be very literal. It's going to try to borrow the composition of the image as much as possible. And so that's what you're seeing on display here is the composition of that image dominates the results. So we get this exaggerated forced perspective, which is, by the way, if you want to prompt for this and not have to use the image blend, you could just say you're looking for a strong forced perspective. that will usually exaggerate things as being close to camera while the rest of the body or the rest of the shape is far away from camera. You could also describe a camera lens, like a wide angle lens will create this sort of effect too. Combining all that knowledge will let you be able to do this stuff even more dynamically than this. But because they included the character reference of towel in the bag, oh, that's cute. Now, a tabby cat, a generic tabby cat, is stomping through the city, and that is a great use of image blending and character referencing. But because they set the character weight to 0 right here, it allowed not only for the face to be different on the cat, but more importantly, it allowed the posing to be dynamic, especially with the fourth result here. So if we kind of take a look-see at that. Here we go. You can see it borrowed so much from the image blend to create this angle, this composition. And then the character referencing took over, replaced the character and posed it as we needed it to be. And I love how the paw looks in this. This is great. You can do, and they even have a personalization code attached to it. Nice. So when it comes to like borrowing other people's like personality codes, right? I mean, just do it. It's not like it's illegal or anything like that. Someone starts yelling at you like, "That's mine." It's like, oh, you don't know how this stuff works, do you? So we're gonna just see what this person's personality code does, okay? And just to kind of make sure I give them a little bit of credit here, this is this is Lordamort. That's right, Lordamort. So let's see what Lordamort prompts. Lordamort. Is it Lord Demort or Lordamort? Let's see here. I gotta just double check really quick. I want to make sure I get it right. Loldemort. It's Loldemort. Okay. Like laugh out loud. Okay. Loldemort. And then I'm going to submit that with your personality code. See what we get out of that. Is that ancient? Let's see here. I can always tell ancients because of the sort of strong color palette. Yes, it is. It is your code. This is great. Anytime I see that like strong hypercolor, I know it's ancient here. I do have something that I made for ancient here. It's it'll come up, I'm sure, but I need to make the alpha channel for this. But yeah, it works pretty well. It's a little slow actually. I don't know why the frame rate is as low as it is. Okay, it's only low on the first loop. Interesting. Okay, so you can see I'm like still actively testing this stuff, but in the black space in there will be eventually a video feed of whatever is happening inside of the VC text. So he'll be able to lay down the bane hammer with that.
You're gonna make it like a video. Okay.
Yeah, like as a PNG tuber. So when Ancient talks, I want to get it to where the mouth actively talks, and does all that stuff. And I want to do the same thing for you, Kinky. Just get you a different room. If you guys don't know what I'm referencing here, by the way, I'm referencing Space Ghost Coast to Coast. This is what is his name?
Moltar.
Moltar, thank you so much. This is Moltar. So I had way too much fun with this idea when I was making it. So I'll eventually get it.
It'd be cool to have that as a GIF too, so you could just drop it wherever as a GIF, even when we're not doing this.
Yeah. He already has it.
Gotcha.
Look, there you go.
There he is.
Yep.
Perfect.
And it is one of those things where if you guys aren't familiar with me, I am a former visual effects artist for Adult Swim Studios, Shadow Machine, and Starburns Industries and a few others. And I worked mostly with puppets, right? But it was all visual effects. So like I'm working with After Effects. So I'm building stuff like this. Like I'm building little animated scenes and things. It is too much fun for me to dig back into my old career doing that kind of stuff. And anytime we can reference anything as Adult Swim, I'm down for that. Okay. All right. So I'm loving all these pets that we've been seeing, especially of mine. I mean, look at that. I know that that's Tal from like right away. Like she's a little chubby, right? She's a very skinny cat normally. So what's interesting about this is that let's try to make her a thin cat with only aspect ratio. Okay. So I'm going to do a variation subtle, and then I'm going to bring the aspect ratio in to, let's do like 1-1. So that'll be a square, and we'll submit that. But I also want you guys to check this out. This is a bit silly, but we'll go to custom zoom. We'll set the zoom to 1, hit the aspect ratio to 1-1. Okay. And then submit that as well. What's going to happen? Well, first off, let's see what we get for the, and we got a little bit of a thinner, just a little bit. The aspect ratio influences like composition of like body form sometimes, right? So that's what I'm kind of taking advantage here, is we're kind of tweaking those values. The third one's the most spot on, I would say, out of the 4 here. But by, let's see here. I don't, that's not what I wanted it to do. Under custom zoom, I screwed that up. I think, I'm trying to recreate an error. Actually, it's okay. We won't worry about that. There's a way that you can kind of like accidentally squish things when you're doing like zooms. I was trying to take advantage of that, but it's not very accurate anyway, so I'm not really going to rely on it. But it's very, very cute though. Like we basically have, hit Towel right on the money when it comes to that image here. This one's so close. So close. Oh no. It's me becoming a cat. A thin cat with only us. Okay. And you can see that when the character references also drop down to 0, gender becomes, becomes not really consideration anymore. So oftentimes you'll see gender bent Victors when people are running Victor. It's just part of the game when it comes to Midjourney stuff. Like you really want to leave. Oh my god. Okay.
That's so cute.
That is very, very cute. Oh, by the way, your audio started fuzzing out there, Kinky. I'm not really sure what happened there.
Sorry about that.
All good. So, who's this one? Is this also Tal? Yes, it is. Yeah, I can almost always tell that you guys are using Tal, not just because it's a tabby cat, but also because it's showing an elderly cat. Like it sees the elderly aspects of her and then puts it on. I love her as a candle though. Like she's the cake. Aw, very cute. Okay, all right. Let's see if we got any other pets here that I haven't run yet. For anybody that's new in here, seeing as we're at the top of the hour here, or we're just past the top of the hour. If you come to the channels here, you'll see right on top of the stage where we're hanging out now, you'll see VC Create and VC Text. VC Create is where we're prompting things all together. And you have my very sleepy cat. This one's awesome. I love this. Thank you, Rhapsody. The VC Text, however, is where we can chat and all hang out together. I want to hear from you. Be sure to say hey, and we'll start making some stuff together. If you guys got any requests, especially, she looks like Bubs on the bottom left. Bubs the cat, or no, not Bubs. Grumpy Cat. She kind of looks like Grumpy Cat in the bottom left there. Um, cool. Okay, all right. You know what? I know one that we haven't done yet. And I'm gonna scroll up pretty high up to get to them. But we have let's see here. Sorry, it's gonna take me a sec to get us there. We have Rhapsody's iguana. To kind of change it up from all the mammals that we've had. Let me just very quickly zoom up here. The fish. Whatever this is Jesus imagery. The Lord might introduce some Jesus imagery. This is great. Thank you, Ancient. Okay, we got an iguana. Okay. So this one is from Fungi Mancer, and he's using one picture from Rhapsody here. And that's if you want to like really capture the likeness without, dropping the character weight or anything. It's one image that really, really really speaks to your pet is so much better than trying to get like a dozen photos of your pet and merging them together. Especially when it comes to little things like spots, details, like things that you as the owner of your pet recognize or can see from a mile away. Like I could tell that the ones that are the most faithful to Tal are just have that stripe in her face and all that sort of stuff. The more images you blend, the less likely you're going to get like consistency in that regard. But what we can do is just find a really good solid starting picture like this one that Rhapsody just sent us here. And this one will more better capture these, like the dark ring in his cheek here and all that kind of stuff. So I can just come into here, CRF, paste that in here, and then I'm going to say iguana. Iguana. Let's do like a dragon with wings and not even mention the iguana. My dog Cooper heard something outside, so he's gonna bark. I'll run this as a V6. We'll see. Without mentioning iguana at all. What is this? Cinematic still of a giant belligerent. Hold on. I got kicked out of that. Hold on. Okay, there we go. A cinematic stills of a giant belligerent aggressive angry cat scene from The Incredible Shrinking Man. Awesome. This is
so good.
It is very good. The style reference they used was this scene. And they used it as a style reference. They probably used it as an image blend as well. Yes. So by combining both a style reference and an image blend, you're essentially doubling down your intent, right? But you're also adding the potential for so redundancy, if that makes sense. Like there's something that happens when it comes to like essentially like sterility. Like you're going to get a lot of the same thing. If I keep re-rolling, this will always be this, which is good if that's exactly what you want, and which it is. But when you're doing like really creative projects and stuff, if you get stuck, it's most likely because you have too many parameters. You could like delete one of them and probably escape out of your hole in that regard. So look at this. We have our iguana with wings, the dragon with wings, with a CRF at 100, so a character weight of 100. This is awesome. It didn't include the ring on the chin at all, probably because it's not looking for those iguana details. But if I say iguana inspired dragon with wings, it's far more likely to pull more iguana aspects out of the design here. Doll, sleepy Tal. Doll. There you go. Look at this. And there you go. You have dragon wings and the loops in the chin, and everything is preserved now. That's awesome. That all just came up because I said iguana inspired dragon, not just dragon. Okay. The idea of fantasy creatures in particular, let's talk about this for a sec, because I think a lot of people get this stuff confused. Whenever it comes to like character referencing, you really want to at least pick characters that start off easy for you, because it means less variety, less headache when you're trying to particularly try to tell stories with them. You know, I focus these streams at building characters that are repeatable and can be easily turned into a comic or a storyboard or some sort of film, because you have that character now reliable inside of Midjourney. There's a couple of ways that we save characters in Midjourney. I'm not really going to get into that right away, but I am going to put an emphasis here on what it takes to really let Midjourney know that you want to be able to have this intent, like this result showing up here. Because when it comes to particularly fantasy creatures, there's not a lot of data actually on the sheer variety of what a dragon is. Dragon's actually a terrible test prompt, because a dragon can be everything from a Komodo dragon, which has plenty of real life data to base off of, or it could be like a bizarre heavenly serpent of some sort that maybe is like an obscure reference to like some Chinese poem or something like that. Those extremes are why a dragon tends to be very unreliable as a character reference. If you have the art done and you have it at all these different angles, you can brute force it. Essentially say, okay, whatever I'm looking at from the sky and I need to look down at the dragon's wings, I have a shot ahead of time of my dragon doing that. And then I'll use that image as the character reference. This is how traditional artists are going to use character referencing the most. They will take one sketch or doodle or whatever reference image that they have, and then that will become like the bones of the final imagery that they're making. For the average person, they're going to need to make a turnaround sheet instead. So instead of drawing directly into Midjourney, they will create a character sheet ahead of time that shows their character from multiple angles. So if we wanted to capture this iguana dragon properly, we would need all those angles. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to zoom out just by 1.5. Because there's a character reference still inside of this prompt, it may create multiple, angles of the character, which might be good for doing a turnaround, but we can always get rid of it if we don't like it. And then see what what prompts without the character reference included in it, in the zoom, I mean. So look at this iguana inspired punk rocker in a leather jacket mohawk anime. There you go. I would just go with Niji 6 instead of writing anime. That will probably get you a lot closer to anime results. But yes, I love the idea of the punk rock leather jacket iguana, because it definitely looks like a punk. It's pretty cool. It's a corgi with teeny wings. He's got tiny wings. Tiny wings. That's too funny. Is this your dog at Mardi Gras? Is this Dr. Sandwich? Sorry if I didn't catch your dog earlier, Dr. Sandwich. Feel free to mention his or her name, as well as the breed, and we can mess around with that too. Very cute though. Very cute to just suddenly see your animal like all dressed up like that. Okay, cool. So we have our zoom out here, and it's did a pretty good job at preserving the dragon aspect. So I'm going to go for this one here. Yes, and you can see Fungi Mancer. I can tell that he's using his personality code right off the bat because he has this like chromatic hypercolor sort of effect, and I'm gonna be real frank with you guys. Like a bunch of you have got this kind of hypercolor effect, but Fungi Mancer is this particular to natural grown kind of stuff. My personality code is strictly stark minimalism, and we'll get into that a little later. But I do like this guy. That is pretty fun. No, oh no, Mouse, that's not a pet. That's not a pet at all. Don't blend this with other people's pets, please. This is gonna be a horror show. You know that, right? I think that. Well, no.
Oh my goodness.
She like, oh man, this is gonna be a rough one.
Cursed.
Yeah, it's gonna be cursed. I kind.
It might be the only thing I've ever seen that made me not want cake, ever in my life.
Okay. All right. So we have Rhapsody's iguana here with the wings. So what I'm gonna try to do is use this as the character reference. Okay. So we will now copy this. And we'll try this as a character reference, and then we'll start to do our photo bashing here because it's I know we're like an hour and 15 in, and I haven't even opened Photoshop yet, but I'm having too much fun with you guys' pets, so let's just keep this going. So yes, so that's the horror stuff you're making. I see, Malzimir. I'll leave you to that for a second here, and because of kind of like how convoluted some of the background is for this iguana, I'm actually going to open up Photoshop now, and we'll just do this inside of there. So it also gives me a chance to close all these tabs because I'm at already 50 tabs. So let's open up Photoshop here.
Why Discord is doing?
Sorry, Kinky, what?
Oh, no, I wasn't even going to say anything important. I was just waiting for you to open Photoshop, so I thought I would fill space.
I see. Your audio is still really. I don't know if it's just for me, guys. Is it just for me, or is Kinky's audio a bit crunchy for the rest of y'all too?
I think it might be her being sick rather than her audio.
Oh, it's probably my.
Probably.
No, both you and Ancient. I have it now, so it's probably all on my end. I'll restart stuff a little later.
I'm gonna mute myself so that you don't have to have my crunchy voice on your recording.
Sorry about that. Sorry, I didn't.
No worries.
Didn't mean to say you had a crunchy voice.
No. I'm serious. I don't want you to have bad quality to edit out.
It's all good.
So I will mute.
Let's see here. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to grab let's see here. I'm going to open up my tablet here. Should just be a black screen. Yep. Gonna have Photoshop here. You're gonna see a bunch of ancients because I was literally working on that thing for right before streaming here today. Okay. So I have the iguana here, and I'm going to use a tool inside of here called object selection, but you don't have to. You could use whatever tool you want for editing or masking out the character here. And it didn't really see the wings of the iguana here. So let's go ahead and try to force that in. That's good. It did a good job on that one. Yes, it did actually a really great job on these. Cool. And then I'll get the tail in there because that's the last little bit. Okay. So it's not perfect, but I can now hit the mask button here in Photoshop. And I will now select everything that's kind of like incorrect. We can do this in a couple different ways. I'm going to use the lasso tool with my pen just because it lets me like trace right away. And I can quickly make changes or edits or whatever. He kind of has chicken feet. Now I'm looking at it. Let's get some of these claws back in there. Masking is a super great skill to learn, guys. I really recommend it because it's going to let you be able to quickly and non-permanently work with your images, so you don't have to, because you're working exclusively with rasterized images when it comes to Midjourney. You know, I do hope that we eventually see more formats than PNGs, but for now, we are limited in that regard. So it's really good idea to never delete your pixels, honestly, just to mask everything like this. It's just going to mean that you could revert and make changes again later without much issue. So I'm just coming in here and arbitrarily redrawing wherever I can find the claws back, and then masking that back out. Just doing that repeatedly here until I have all the kind of thumbs or all the fingies of your iguana Rhapsody kind of captured. I don't actually know what iguana feet really look like in real life. We're just going to kind of wing it with this. But I imagine they're very, very accurate to this or whatever, but still, you always want to check a reference before, especially if you're doing something for somebody else. Like this is for a business use case or whatever. Make sure your anatomy's right and just do your homework. There is no cheating that. Let's go ahead and make some bumpies there on the back. There we go. Come on, you have a bunch of reference images. I do have a bunch of reference images. I just haven't looked at them yet. I will in just a sec. But I also have to make sure that the claws are understood by Midjourney, right? So they have to all be splayed and like figured out, like basically very visible. So let's go ahead and clean up this one a little bit here. And for the sake of Rhapsody, I'm going to pull up her reference images here. Got to make sure it's as accurate as possible to her Iggy. Let's see here. There's a lot of horror show ones. Yep. Nope. Thank you, Rhapsody. I appreciate that. Are these the appropriate references for an iguana hand? It's too silly. Seeing what everything you guys are doing here. But I'm just gonna zoom us all the way back up here real quick. There's a lot of fish. A lot of fish from prompt battles from you guys. Fish. Okay, did you link me? All right, thank you so much. There. Oh. There we go. That's all I needed. There we go. Okay. Thank you for that. Instead of watching me scrolling, that's way better. Yeah, look at it. Look at how weird the fingers are. I didn't mean to say weird for your pet, but it is iguana have weird feet, guys. Like they got some real funky feet. So yeah, it's actually pretty accurate to what I had going on actually. So like if I go back to the tablet here, yeah, I think that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Okay, let me clean up this little doohickey here. Clean up this here. Okay, that's actually pretty decent. If I want to put more emphasis on the wings and stuff, there is some tools within Photoshop that lets us do generative expansion. So I'm not going to worry about using the actual generative expansion tool that's in here. It tends to do some weird stuff for me. But if I wanted to complete the tail or the wings, for example, in Photoshop, I can just come into here now, select this, and let's make it a little bigger. So like that. I'm not even going to write anything. I'm just going to hit generate. And that usually gives me the best results in Photoshop. Just don't write anything. Unless I'm using an image prompt. That's something new from Photoshop, and I'm really glad that exists now because I've been using it a ton. But yeah, this is an example of me just quickly using Gen Fill to get us a some alternate or expanded versions of the wings here. I'm not really too happy with how squat that is at the end of the wing here, so I'm actually going to come in and select and then kind of come out a little bit and select into here. See if we can get a little more perspective in these wings here before I submit it as a character reference. Yeah, there you go. A little more of a bat-like wing with the claw at the end there. I like that. Yeah, let's go for that. Let's just go for that. It'll give us something pretty clear and distinct. And then for the tail, boop, and submit. I can see that you guys are all doing stuff, by the way. I'll dig back at everything you guys are doing here in just a sec. It's flashing on my screen, just a bunch of Victors doing weird furry things, and I'm like, oh no. They're turning me into bird people. Okay, generate. We'll see what we get out of this one. Is there a problem with bird people? I'll get back into this just a sec. All right, so we got a tail here. It's not really that good, but it'll work. It'll be fine. It doesn't need to be anything that detailed, just either show that it has a point, and I think that'll be fine. I'm gonna come in. I'm just gonna crop this in here, and then with this layer here, let's go ahead and paste some white in there. And now we have a nice clean initial character pose for Jack here. I'm going to collapse all this into one layer, copy it, and then let's pop back over to the stage here. And that's, you can see, this is where you guys can actually start doing some really cool stuff by turning your OCs into stickers, like how Rhapsody has here. And it'll like advertise your server and do all that. I love stickers. They're really great for communicating on Discord particularly, but using your OC especially. So so I'm gonna grab Jack in his dragon form here, and now that we've crafted this image of Jack, we don't need to mention that he's a dragon anymore. That's the real crux of this is that now the character reference is the heart of the dragon aesthetic, as opposed to the very, very abstract, loose concept of a dragon. So let's do a disaster film. Disaster film set in a medieval era, or let's just do disaster film. AR32, CRF, and then paste the link for Dragon Drac on this. And we'll also do this as Niji 6, and then see which one we like more. Alrighty. All right. Awesome. Okay. So with Niji 6, we got like far more Godzilla-esque sort of dragons, right? But it didn't see it as an iguana either, right? We probably want to reinforce that it's an iguana-inspired dragon again. But when it came to like the disaster film in V6, though, it just straight up saw the dragon wings and just went ham with it. You know, like it's awesome to see just how far it'll go off of your chimeras, like your merged or photo bashed characters. So if we want to reinforce this one, let's do iguana inspired dragon in a disaster film. And we can even reinforce that we're trying to watch a movie, right? By saying a scene depicting an iguana-inspired dragon in a disaster film. Same thing goes for Niji, by the way. You're gonna see that I am using a ton of stuff that that at least in my comics, that I'm really reinforcing what I am actually intending to make with it. So for the Niji one here, which tends to be more of a drawn aesthetic, let's do an animated film depicting an iguana inspired dragon in okay, let's do an animated disaster film. We'll just add disaster into there instead of the front end, so that it's more like a full sentence. An animated disaster film depicting an iguana inspired dragon. And if you want to give the dragon intent of like what it's doing, like blowing flame or like shooting flames out of its mouth or anything like that, just write it and see what it does. If you do not get the result you want, just drop the character weight, and it'll tends to do much better. So let's see where you guys go with this. Wow, you guys are going ham with it. Awesome. So an animated disaster film depicting an iguana-inspired dragon. Look at that. Now it's much more cinematic and more interesting looking, and we frankly this fourth one here is pretty spot on. So what we can do now is we can try dropping the character weight and see what happens with this particular character reference. So we'll drop it to 20, see what we get. Look at how awesome that is. That's great. Jack's having a good time. Fungi Mancer says, you guys are prompting some cool, funny, and even weird stuff. Oh yeah, absolutely. No, we're having a ton of fun here. So when I look at little Lord of Mort, just going ham on the original interpretation of the character reference. That's awesome. I think there was one more up here. Yes. Okay. A scene depicting an iguana-inspired dragon in a disaster film. Okay. Because I mentioned scene, okay, it's more likely going to be as if it's kind of like almost like a Transformers movie. Like that's what I'm interpreting this as, is like it's shot at that angle where someone is on a gimbal, like sorry, on a crane camera shot, and it's like a bit overproduced, but it's also like there's excess amounts of trash on the ground. All these kind of things remind me of Transformer movies. So or just any kind of like AAA Hollywood, turn off your brain kind of movie. So when you ask for film related terms, the more technical you are, the more accurate it is to your intent in that regard. Look at Lizzie's yes. You know what this is reminding me of? Like super heavily? Okay. When I was a kid, I loved the movie Gremlins. Okay. Gremlins is like the best. I loved that movie so much. When Gremlins 2 came out, I didn't understand that it was a parody of the first movie. I was really weirded out by it. It just really was jarring to me to see. But I absolutely loved the gremlin with the wings, right? We could definitely do some fun image blends with that character here in a second. Trixie said, "How am I so late to the party of the pet special? Yeah, why are you so late? What other things that you got going in your life that is so important that you can't join us for a pet stream?" But I know I thank you so much for joining here. I'm pulling your chain hard, but it's nothing is this important. Exactly. So what I'm gonna do is in a separate window, I'm gonna pull up a GIF of the scene from Gremlins 2 Wings. Let's see if we can get a GIF of this character here. The Bat Gremlin. That's who he is. Yep. All right. Let's do. They do like a Batman joke in it too, right? So let me see if we have a scene from that movie as opposed to just the Bat Gremlin. Yes. Okay. Cool. if we take a screenshot from the movie, which I think this is one of them. Yeah, look at all these Victor Drag. Oh my God. Some of you guys are really going ham with this. That is awesome. So weird. Okay. All right. There's the, yeah, Lizzie already grabbed it too. It's pretty cool looking because it's got like they did the anatomically correct thing with the hands, right? Because bat wings are actually just long gangly fingers. But kept the regular arms on the gremlin too, right? So if we take this / imagine, paste the image just by itself, okay, and then we take the character reference for the iguana with the wings already, so --cref, paste that in there. We still need to have a prompt. We can't just have an image by itself, okay? So let's just describe what this scene is from the movie. It's an escape sequence, I believe. So let's do escaping from the laboratory. From the laboratory. And we'll describe it as a movie. So a scene from a classic film, classic movie. No, we'll don't worry, classic. Let's just do an action scene depicting an escape from the laboratory. There you go. Trying to get it as mostly full sentence as I can. And then if we just submit that as is, it's going to be an equal weight between the image and the prompt itself. If I add a code, IW, and then any number from 0 to 3, we can control how much influence that image has on the final result, on the composition and all that stuff. So I'm going to set it to 3. We're going to try we're going to max it out first, and then I'm going to submit that. Oh, that's right. Wait. What did I not type here? Oh, I didn't post the right link. My bad. No big deal. So what I accidentally did here was I grabbed the Discord link, like the actual link to the message itself, as opposed to the PNG image here. So now we'll grab this here. I'll say a scene depicting an escape from a laboratory, cref, and then paste the Jack with wings, and then IW3. There we go. That works. It's just super fun to see what will come up here. But look at this. Okay, we're gonna have to compare the original movie still and this here. Okay, so this is the original movie still. Okay. And now here's the final result. It's amazing how well it captured the kind of like the vibe of it, but it's overproduced. It's still way too detailed to be a puppet, right? So you might look at this and go, wow, that looks like AI art. Like that looks weird. That looks odd. And you would be 100% right, obviously. But let's try to reinforce what the actual final product is. This is a puppet. This is like a prop, right? So what if we described it as that? Okay. So let's do a 1980s puppet in a horror film depicting an escape from a laboratory. We'll just try that and see how much more we can lean these results in a direction that's interesting to us. Rhapsody said, by the way, I have Jack here judging iguana dragons, just so you guys know, no pressure. Good. Okay, so when we tried this with a 1980s puppet in a horror film, now let's take a look at it, and we could see that we got a little closer, but it's still very AI. It's still very like overproduced. Like there's some aspects that remind me a little bit of an older puppet, but it's still very weird. So what we need to do is we actually need to drop the image weight, I believe. So we will re-roll this. And then let's drop the image weight to like something below 1, because 1 is the default. So let's do 0.4. Yeah, you can use decimal points with this. So the lowest is 0.1, but it'll let you write anything. So like you can write 0.000001 and it won't change. It'll just be 0.1. So okay. The World of Warcraft. I love it whenever video games are referenced, especially if you style reference the video games themselves, which I bet you did here. Let's see. Yes, you did. Okay. If you style reference the games, it'll oftentimes pick the style of that genre or that game. So like of Atari games or whatever. Okay, look at this. Okay, yes, we're a lot closer now. We got what looks like to me way closer to like one of these puppets that you would see in the films. It's still odd. It's still really like really weird and whatnot in terms of some of the anatomy that's here. But it is way closer to like, especially this bottom one here. This just reminds me of like the Crypt Keeper. You know what I mean? Like it's great. It's an absolute horror show for Rhapsody, I bet. But Jack is judging this one very, very hard. But it even captured the iguana claws. Yeah, it's great. I really do like these kind of results here. But if we go even more specific, right? So like let's try this out here. Let's grab. I'll open this in another window because I don't know what I'm going to end up searching for here. But I'm going to do Mystery Science Theater 3000. Okay. And we are going to grab a classic, like, pre-HD image from Mystery Science here. So let's do, I'm actually just going to put Joel at the end there because Joel as a host will make it much older of content. So let's see here. Okay. So if I go ahead and grab a kind of blurry photo, like a little like authentic to the time period. So we have this here. It's blurry. It's got VHS effect on it. It's all over the place when it comes to the kind of like the how clean the line art is here. But I'm gonna take these. Let's see. I really like Lizzie's one that Lizzie's working on here. This one here. Okay, that's from Brandon. Brandon's doing this one, which is way closer actually. That top left one's pretty solid for a little like puppet, like yeah. So let's take this. We'll take Brandon's here. I'm gonna re-roll this, but I'm gonna change the style reference that he has to Mystery Science Theater. Okay. There's a word for it that it's kind of blanking my head right now, but there's a word for the kind of like Ace Hardware sort of like found trash. Just there's a way that you make cheap sci-fi films. Okay. Look at this. Look at this. It's doing it already. It's putting all the trash on the walls. So this is something that once you know this, you will never be able to unsee it. Okay, and I apologize ahead of time if this ruins a good chunk of your like classic sci-fi movies from the 60s, 70s, and 80s and stuff. But almost every sci-fi movie had, including Star Wars, when you're looking at the backgrounds, they are filled with trash that's been spray painted a color. Okay. I'm not really able to grab a great example for you right off the bat. But actually let me see if I can find a better one, because it's all yes, this is probably better. It's more like a rehash of it, so they're probably exaggerating it a little bit. But if I zoom in here for you guys, the backgrounds, look at this. That's a bunch of like trumpets. Like that's the midsections of trumpets. There are tons of toilet seats in the backgrounds of Mystery Science Theater sets. Now they've gone out of their way and they've, this is an updated modern version of it. So they've like added weird piston and pipe pieces and stuff like that. But the reality is a lot of this stuff is just like the stuff you find at a junkyard or a thrift store, and then you glue it to a wall and then spray paint it a single color, like gray, mostly gray or beige. And that's how you make sci-fi backgrounds. And it is It is too funny to point that out and then go like, hey, you see that toilet in the background? You know, like that kind of thing. It's too funny. We just used Greeblings in a prompt battle the other day. What is Greebles? What are you guys talking about? What's Greebles?
That is the technical term for it.
Oh, is it called Greebles? Okay. That's the word. Okay. Thank you. Greebles. Yes. It's the trash on the walls. Look at all the trash. Okay. Cool. So I bet you some people have tried prompting for Greebles already, and seeing what it gets you. But look at these style references of using it from like Deus Ex here. That's pretty cool. You could just very quickly see your pet in your favorite video game with this. Like, let's do that really quick. Let's grab another pet from you guys. I appreciate that, Rhapsody. Thank you for linking the definition there. So we're gonna put a pet in your favorite video game. This is what I'm gonna ask you guys to do. Yeah, right. Good luck scrolling. You guys are having way too much fun. But this is what I'm gonna ask you guys to do. Look at that. Look at this perspective. Okay. So this is what I'm gonna ask you guys to do. I want you to post your favorite video game inside of VC text, like preferably your favorite video game when you were growing up. I wanna get like a list of different styles for us to pull from. And we'll try to shove these pets into those games. So if you're new here and you don't know how to type on the chat here, just go to the stage, look above it, and you'll see VC text and VC create. Click on VC text and you'll be able to chat with us and have your recommendation, your favorite game growing up pop up in the stream here. So let me know about that. I'm going to let that load for a second, and we'll get some examples here while I pull up pets from you guys. And I also have a smoothie, so I'm going to slowly sip on that while you guys are giving us all your recommendations.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's still really crunchy on mine. It has to be on my end. At this point.
No. Actually, I was just checking because you weren't talking, but I wasn't sure if my mic was working at all.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're good. And in fact, this is probably a good time to do. Well, I don't know. We'll get to that here in a little bit. We'll get to that here in a bit when we do the announcements. Okay. All right. So let's just grab some of these kitties here, because I know a lot of these are towel, but I want to get a little bit of diversity here. And we'll get everyone's pet in here. So let's see. I got to get rid of all these doodads here. So let's see. Got a corgi. Why is it trying to get me to open up these images? Okay. I'm loving all the game recommendation, guys. Thank you so much for posting these games. It'll be a lot of fun to prompt them all at once here. Okay. All right. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring my last pet in, because I have to admit, there's a lot of pictures from you guys. This was a very popular stream in terms of like the amount of like reception from you guys. That's awesome. Super awesome. But do what Lizzie's doing here. We're gonna share. If you want to see these, reshare them, because I'm having trouble scrolling all the way back. So we're gonna work with Lizzie's cats here. So just to get started here. So this is Lizzie's fur babies. It's Larry and Mo. Oh, look at them. They're so cute. Larry reminds me a lot of Towel, actually. Okay. And if we want to see what they look like, if you want to see what somebody's pets look like if they had kittens, right? So like let's merge Mo and Towel real quick before I get into the game stuff, just so you guys can see what that looks like here. Actually, no. You know what? No. I distract myself way too easily. Let's get into the games. Okay. You can just do an image blend between two cats, and you'll see what they come up with. There you go. Okay. Let's go ahead and do /imagine, and then add the cat as a character reference here. And I'm going to set the character weight to 50 for now, just so it's not so strong that we're going to only get the cat, but also not so weak that we don't see the cat anymore. So, wow, there's a lot of games for you guys. I love how it's like mention your favorite game, and like everyone's got a big reaction to that. That's awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and grab some games. I'm going to first say screenshot. Let's do, I'm going to do whichever ones have the most reactions to them. So I'm going to start with Brandon Max at Pitfall. Okay. We're going 8-bit. Okay, we're going to start off with 8-bit right off the bat. Okay. So I'm going to copy a link to a scene from a scene. It's a single screenshot from Atari Pitfall. And let's see. I gotta actually grab a better picture of this one. Let's do a copy address here. There we go. And paste this link here. Okay. So now I have the Atari screenshot as the style reference. I have Mo, I believe, as the character reference set to 50. So now I'm going to say, Atari Atari game screenshot, and looks like it's pretty much an aspect ratio of 3:2. So let's go for that. And now the next game for me, guys. Ultima 3. Okay. Wow, okay, we're gonna... Oh. It's gonna be the cat playing the game. Oh my god. Okay. This is great. Not what I intended, but okay. It kind of looks like... The first one kind of looks like Doom Guy, like it's gonna burn... Like, oh god. This is silly. It's like Mission Command. Okay, let's go ahead and try to do another game here. This is gonna be very similar. This one is Pitfall. Oh, sorry, not Pitfall. Sorry, this one's Ultima 3. So let's do Ultima 3 screenshot. And then I'll change the style reference. Submit that. Oh, thank you for coming, Edith. Thank you so much. Oh geez, 4, 7, or 15, I guess. Yeah, right. It's there's gonna be a lot of favorites from people. Okay. Okay, all right. So, you can see that we're kind of just shoving. There's a lot of photo bashing happening just right off the bat because we're starting with some really old games here, like 8-bit stuff and whatnot. So, yes, this is great though. It's essentially like photo bashing. Let's go ahead and get a little more modern of a game here. Let's do Spyro. Spyro from Zero here. So I will grab a screenshot from Spyro, and I'm going to do the PlayStation 1 Spyro, okay? Now, I will admit, probably the iguana with wings makes more sense for Spyro, but I'm gonna just immediately do. Let's grab. I want to just find a decent screenshot that might give us decent results. Yeah, this one here. This one should do well. So what I'm looking for when I'm doing these screenshot digging, by the way, is I'm trying to find something that gives me a similar kind of like rule set, like all the rules for the imagery make sense here. So I'm seeing low res textures. I'm seeing full character art, like that kind of stuff. And so I will use this as the style reference and just simply reroll this one here, and then paste that. By adjusting the character weight, we can get way closer to our intent of actually getting the character, like getting your pet into the style of the game. But this is already super close. And it's just because we're kind of a little more modern, a little more in 3-dimensional space. Look at this. The way that it's able to understand that's the back of her head. This is so funny to me that it did a low res wrap, like texture wrap. Now the polygon count is way too high for the time period. Like this cat is way too high resolution in the polygons, but the texture is so close. And then you have the high res whiskers that are completely breaking you out of the game world. That would have been done with a transparency, and it would have been very flat, like looking all the way around. Yes. Like this is an even more extreme example of that, where it's trying to wrap things around sort of shapes and it's just amazing that Midjourney can do this at all, right? It's just so cool. But this is technically based off of Spyro. So, it's looking at like the mossy greens in the background and the grass on the floor and turning it into a forest and all the other like kind of medieval brick work tends to then bring in more of that within the final result. So yeah, it's really cool to start bringing in these other games here. Okay, so we got one from Mario here. This is Lodomort with their puppy. Oh, that's great. And because you mentioned Super Mario 64, you're going to see Mario popping up. You actually don't really need to do that if you're using a style reference, because you're actually establishing the rules for the imagery with the style reference. You won't get artifacts from the game. Like, for example, like you see Mario on the bottom right there is like, that's based off the opening screen of the Mario 64 game where you got to like manipulate and pull his face and stuff like that. That's the Mario on the bottom right. Now, granted, it's been minimalized to like a circle, but I know just from the angle and the approach to rendering that is the opening, that is interpreting just that image of the opening sequence for Super Mario 64. If you do not include Super Mario in this prompt at all, so a screenshot, from a Nintendo game, Nintendo 64 game, there's a good chance you're still going to get Mario because Nintendo's in the prompt. But at the very least now, because keep in mind, we have the Labrador as a character reference. We have the game as a style reference. We shouldn't actually even need to mention Nintendo 64, but we'll see how much that drives us away from Mario here. All right. Oh my God, I love it. Which one do you love? Oh yes, that is super cool. I love this kind of like neon effect on there too. But you could see here, look at this. Mario is now gone. Your dog has become the main character of the game. And even anthropomorphized it and gave him pants. This is great. This is a classic example of where sometimes under-describing it is better than over-describing it. The fact that you got a profile of the cat looking like it's in the game is amazing. It's shooting lasers. Hold on. This is too funny. Pew. Is a cat cannon. He's just shooting lasers. That's great. That's too funny. Okay. All right. And if you drop the character weight on this really, really hard, even more so than 20, you'll probably get even more 8-bit cats. Let's do another game. The Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I've never actually heard of this game. That's another overhead pixel game. Okay. So if we do copy image on this one, and we bring in another pet here. Let's do Larry this time. It does look like some of these are in Duck Hunt though. Like you don't want your pet in Duck Hunt. I shot that dog way too much. Let's see here. So we're gonna add that as a character reference, and then I'm sorry, no, this is the style reference. And then we'll grab the pet and cref that. and then we'll say screenshot from Zombies Ate My Neighbors. And it would help to know the console, but it's all good. I just don't feel like Googling it, so I'm just gonna submit this. Let's do Crash Bandicoot. That'll be a fun one. So with Crash Bandicoot in particular, he's going to have this like really fun, like let's do the first PlayStation game. It's all about that perspective, right? Like the running towards and away from you on camera, right? Which you saw some of it with the dog, but we are going to be able to capture that way better with Crash Bandicoot because Crash Bandicoot is a game that's like super locked in camera. So we should be able to just get because you either have profile running sequences, which are like bonus maps in that game, or you have the dead on running forward, running back sort of aesthetic. So let me I'll grab this shot here. Okay. And then I'll do style reference or sref. And then let's do a character reference, and I'll grab I'm gonna grab another pet here. Feel free to post more pets, guys. It would actually be easier if you guys posted them in VC text now that I'm thinking about it, because then I could like see them, right? Like I don't have to keep scrolling. But we're just gonna grab this one here, which is I think Kinky's cat. Yes. Kinky's cat. All right. So we have Crash Bandicoot. We're going to paste Kinky's cat as the character reference. We have the style reference set for Crash Bandicoot. And now we're going to say, let's try to do like I'm trying to think, what is the cinematic scene from it? Let's do, wow. I'm just going to say a screenshot. PlayStation 1 screenshot. We'll only go with the console this time. And then AR 16, no, 4-3. It's a 16:9 game. Never mind. Chased by a polar bear on a bridge. Yeah. Oh, guys. This is so great, guys. The Witcher. No, yeah, there's a Crash Bandicoot screenshot I see. That's a much newer version of Crash Bandicoot, though. Okay, look at this. There's Kinky's cat in Crash Bandicoot. Oh my god. This is great. Duh. Yeah, it's really cool how it captures the low texture effect, like the low res texture effect. It's just so perfect in this. Yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, at this point, we've gone through a bunch of different games with you guys, mostly older, of course. We have tons and tons of kitties, especially. If you guys have any other pets, especially like not dogs or cats, I would be very curious to see, because we had a ton of fun working with Rhapsodies here. So what I'm going to do to kind of give us some time to give everyone a little bit of a show, I'm going to let this kind of scroll through. And if you're all right with doing announcements, Kinky, I'll probably edit them in later on my end, but everyone else can hear you fine. So I would like to have you come in and be able to do the stream announcements for prompt battles and all that stuff. Is that cool?
Oh, certainly. I wonder if anybody can you hear me, AC?
Yep.
All right. So hi, how's everybody doing? We have this weekend prompt battles, and we'd love you to come by. I don't know if you've ever played prompt battles, but a few people in here have, and they can tell you that it is pretty good. We do 10 minutes on the clock to to prompt an image of the person before you choosing, and then once they choose it, once they choose it, you guys all prompt it. We put it in the poll unit when they come out, and then we vote to see who has the one that people like best, and that person chooses the next round. Not only that, but they get free fast hours for winning. And you can also get free fast hours just for showing your pretty face and hanging out with us, or voting, or for participation. We would love it if you swung by. There are 16 hours of it. We do from 3:30 p.m. I'm sorry, we go from 3:30 p.m. tomorrow Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern, and then on Sunday we start at 10 a.m. and go till 6 p.m. Eastern, and that's just so that we can get the European people in a little bit earlier. And I really hope you show up. It's a great time. Everybody's super nice. It's not competitive, and it's a little competitive, but it's more about teaching each other, and it's sharing what we know and learning new stuff and prompting outside our boxes. So I hope you come. Please do. And you don't have to stay all day. Oh, that's my lovely co-host down there, and my friend Really Smart. Really Smart is really good. Um, and Fungamancer came in and has played with us before. You don't have to stay all day. You don't have to prompt it every round. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You don't have to talk on the microphone. Just come get out of your shell. Oh yeah, Getters is the quiet one at prompt battles. He never talks. Uh, Especially not about purple burglar alarms. But please do. Please come on over and play. I mean, yeah, you should come play. But you don't have to play every single round if you don't want to. And oh yeah, Rhapsody's the invisible one in prompt battles, and that's because she's being tricky because she doesn't usually show up. Oh, Brandon MC comes. Yep. All the people. Yeah, you guys can talk for me. I have no voice right now. And I think Victor's probably ready to get back on the mic, so I'll be quiet. But I hope you have a wonderful night, and I will see you tomorrow if I do. If I do. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kinky, and I hope you get better too. I know you think you got COVID and stuff, so everyone wish her well. It does suck. It does suck to, like, everyone's been getting sick and getting better and then getting sick again, and just, yeah, I'm glad I'm over it, but I feel for you. So at this point, I do want to say that we got about another hour here. So what I'm gonna recommend that we do is we start doing some proper photo bashing. Because we've had a lot of fun with Midjourney kind of doing a lot of the work for us when it comes to this stuff. Like I did a little bit with the object selection inside of Photoshop for you guys already, but I think it's going to be a lot more fun if we can really take control of the results. So I'm going to grab this image of the bat gremlin here. And I'm going to just copy that, and we're going to load this into Photoshop here. So let's do boom, and open up my tablet here. And I'm going to hit new and just paste that photo into there. And we're going to do a photo bash of this guy, but with one of your all's other pets in this. So let's go ahead and just scroll on through really quick. I'm gonna go like real hard, real fast to see if we can grab. Yes, okay. Let's grab this puppy right here from Dr. Sandwich. So we got this cute, adorable puppy. Let me zoom in here for you guys. Look at this cute little dog. So cute. And you blended it with the Mona Lisa. That made this, by the way. The fact that you got your puppy doing the Mona Lisa smile like stare is too funny, the way that you did that. And you did that with just a straight blend, by the way, blending the two images. Now Now, you are inspiring me, though. You are inspiring me because I'm going to now copy the Mona Lisa. And we're going to do this as a little more silly here, too. Okay? So I got the Mona Lisa here instead of the Bat Kremlin. Got the Mona Lisa here. I'm going to grab your puppy. I'm going to grab your puppy. I'm going to grab your puppy and run away with it. And I have your puppy. Okay. So what I'm going to do is first I'm just going to make sure I got the whole puppy in the canvas. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just make it a smart object so then I can edit it as an individual object. Edit. And now I'm just going to get the puppy in there by itself. So we'll do object select. And if you're using GIMP or anything like that, you just manually, mask this. But this will do most of the work for us. So we'll grab this, mask it, boom, and then hit save. That saves the smart object now with the transparency that's here. So what I can do is essentially just cover up the Mona Lisa's head with your dog. Okay. So I usually set a little bit of a transparency. But if that isn't good enough for you to tell like what parts are what from between the two images here, you can also use difference or exclusion. Depending on the image, it might be easier to see. Like see, for example, difference here gives me a much harder line that I can know where the edge of your dog's face is. So I am now going to make a second mask. This mask is now just going to isolate the head, and I'll just use the brush tool to do that. Let's make it a bigger brush. And then I'm just going to draw around the chin and tongue and face, cheeks. Okay. And now I can set that blending mode back to normal, opacity up, and we can see I now have a clean line to where I just need to delete everything else by just drawing it in as a mask. Nice big brush. Like so. Okay. And then I'll go in and just finesse some minor details. This is not really important. This is more me being a stickler because I can't stand seeing hard lines like this. And we can just kind of fray those up a little bit. Or what's even better is to come to the selection tool here. Make sure that you have contiguous off, sample all layers off, and then select the black. And what that's going to do is it's going to select all the black in the image. So then I isolate that to just what I want to edit. Okay, so let's go for getting rid of all these selections up here, all these selections down here. And remember, I'm not deleting any pixels. I'm just using masks. So the only thing I'm going to do is select the mask on the top right here. Make sure that I have black enabled. Black is going to be like as if I'm cutting it out. You can see I got a pretty nice clean line all the way through here to where I can just now select this, black it, and there you go. I have a much cleaner mask. Now, some of that mask is still hard lined out, so I can now reverse it, invert, go back here, select with the brush with the white tool selected now, increase my brush size a little bit. And because I inverted the marquee, I don't actually need to try in terms of like being accurate with the brush, because as long as I'm in this area, it will fill in accurately. So there you go. We can now manipulate the final like kind of head position, maybe rotate it a little bit. You know, like when a dog, like when you say like a word it likes, I'm getting the and we just kind of come in and get this cleaned up. So we can see we still have a little bit of the mask line here. I'm just going to come in and and make sure I've got this selected, switch this to black. Oops. I worked it by accident. Hold on. There you go. Make sure it's on black, and then brush out that little bit that's dangling there. But yeah, you could see how much cleaner the line is. just by doing that with the appropriate selection tools used. Okay, so now that we have this, the hair from the Mona Lisa might cause some issues. Like it might make the dog's hair look really like funny, like underneath the ears. So we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it because it's gonna look funny. And then we can manipulate this more as needed. But there's one other thing. You probably want to blend the two images a little bit so that it understands, oh, okay, these are meant to be the same person or thing. So I'm going to use, let's use curves. Curves will show us the overall like levels of dark and light, but it will also let us be able to bend the results, which is why it's called curve. So let's curve the results down a little bit so that we can kind of get a little closer to the hair tone and color, because that's really where it's off. So like if I now bring this back down to something like here, okay, and then we switch the preview on and off to see the difference, look how much less photo bashed it looks, just because the shadows are a little closer to the Mona Lisa's here. Okay, so I'm just going to accept that. And as I'm zooming in and out, sometimes you'll see it flicker between the different states here, because these are all smart filters now, seeing as it's a smart object. I can just turn this on and off as needed. Okay, so all right, we've got this here. I think this works pretty well. If we want to go even farther with it, we can actually use a little bit of gen fill to merge the neck and the basically the body shape here. This may not work. Well, this is kind of a gamble. But with Photoshop, if you don't write anything, it just tries to make it work. It doesn't really it doesn't need the context, because it does a lot of image interrogation in terms of like trying to figure out what is the easiest path to get a likable or objectively pretty image. And you can see it added shadow underneath her neckline to represent the longer face of the dog. Okay, so let's try out a couple different ones here. I would say this third one here is probably the best out of these three, but we don't really need it. I think it'll be fine, but I think we'll be fine. We'll just keep this as is. Okay, we got it here. And then we have this little bit of tidbit hanging out on the bottom here. I'll get rid of this really quick. Boop. And boop. Use that as a mask. Switch that mask to black. And fill that in. There we go. Okay, now we got your dog as the Mona Lisa. This is from Dr. Sandwich. Okay, so what we're gonna do is collapse this into one layer, copy that, and now we are going to hop ourselves over to VC Create. Okay. Boop. And we are going to /imagine. Actually, sorry, before I hit /imagine, we are going to paste the image that we just made of your dog. Takes a second whenever I do these higher res ones. Okay, so we now have an image. We can now grab the link for that image. And now I'm going to write, let's see here. We are going to do Leonardo da Vinci painting, and then use the Mona Lisa as the C-rep here, the Mona Lisa dog as the C-rep. And I'll do an aspect ratio that kind of goes against this image, so like something wide where the C-rep is tall. And then I'll just submit that. And we could even do it without any reference to the painting at all. We'll just do like walking in a medieval market. Oh, wow. It completely got rid of the dog. Wow. Okay. It made it a dude, which is kind of funny. Because Michelangelo, okay, it's reading Leonardo da Vinci so much stronger and so the prompt is way too powerful on Leonardo da Vinci. But look at this, walking in a medieval market. Here we go. Okay. So we have the medieval market. We have your dog with that's clearly based off the Mona Lisa. We got the kind of like pushed up cleavage and all that kind of stuff here. This is hilarious to me. This is hilarious. It merged all the details right. It put everything in the right places, all that kind of stuff. It's just so weird. And I love doing photo bashing for this reason, because it lets us be able to see what Midjourney kind of interpretation of what an anthropomorphic kind of character would actually look like or be doing or whatever. Do you intend it to have an effect with the aspect ratio change? Yes, I did actually. Because look what happens. If I now re-roll this, but with the aspect ratio matching the character reference, we are far more likely to get something that looks like the Mona Lisa painting, because it's basically pulling from that pose a lot more. Now this particular example, it kind of borked up on me really good. It completely broke actually. So sometimes my examples don't really, this is some really funny bad mergers that are happening here. But yeah, generally speaking, especially when you leave the character reference at 100, you're far more likely to result in stuff that's very similar to your character reference. That's all I'm kind of trying to get at here. Oh, you're trying to make it a different artist painting here with this one? Oh, yeah. And the farther away your photo bash is from the overall image, the less likely it'll capture it correctly. Less likely we'll see it as a dog, right? So you might need to describe it as a dog person or whatever. But the driving a motorcycle. The third one here. That's too funny. See, and it looks very photo bashed, right? It looks like what it is. Like it's basically like merged together imagery, and we can lessen that by essentially blending these images into a generated image. Okay, so let me see. Did my Niji one work at all? Let's change this one to Niji really quick. I just want to see what it does. Dr. Sandwich is going hard with his puppy. Okay. All right. Much better. Niji 6 is understanding the anthropomorphic thing way better. But you could see it's still adding aspects of like photo bashing to like the neckline. That's telling us something. That's saying that Midjourney can't really figure out what we're trying to do here. Okay. It's seeing the hair. This is what I was talking about, actually. Remember when I was mentioning how the hair could make things a little weird? It's because it doesn't really understand how to merge these two structures together. Like, what's the formula here? How furry is your dog? Like that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is we're going to hop back into Photoshop and we're going to fix this problem. Because I know that for some people that want to do this, like, especially for business purposes, like I want to put like a logo or an IP for someone inside of something else, you're going to get effects like this and you're not going to know how to fix it, right? But if you really analyze this stuff, you can get a better idea of what's happening. The hair and the dog's face do not match. They simply are not conditioned. There are very few dogs that have human hair, let alone human hair that flows like this, right? So to fix this, we are going to go into Photoshop. And pretty simple, okay? We're just going to remove aspects that fail in Midjourney. So this is where we run things a couple times, we see what works, see what doesn't, blah, blah, blah. But we have your dog's face here. I'm going to grab all the hair, everything that we saw that didn't work well. And I'm going to grab that as just a part of the image here. Okay. we'll start with this, but I also want to select other parts just to kind of emphasize, okay, this is all meant to be one. Okay. So I'll grab this, make sure I'm on the most top layer, and then I'll just simply gen fill this. And then if it doesn't give me what I want after a couple rerolls, then I start to describe stuff. But basically like the opposite approach for Midjourney when it comes to Photoshop. I try to describe as less as possible so that it relies on image interrogation in Photoshop, but I try to describe as much as possible in Midjourney in order for it to understand my intent. And you could see here that it generally like did not want to fuse it together. So Photoshop also has similar problems to Midjourney at interpreting what we're trying to do here. Okay. So to fix this, let's lower the sections that we're kind of editing here. So let's go for just this side of let's just go for the hair. You notice that I'm not just picking one side of the body. I'm trying to like pick aspects of it so that we're removing, because if I would only select one side of the hair here, it'll reference the other side of the head, like so the other hair when generating it. I'm basically removing reference points by gen filling this way. That's a lot more like a dog neck. Don't get me wrong, it is, but it's a horror show in terms of like the anatomy here. But it is really funny to me that we are that at least I think we're starting to establish this correctly. So I can now come into here, start to select the chin line here, and we can even select some of the back side of the neck here. And just gonna rerun that on top of this one and see how much closer we get off of this, because this is just really funny to me. Okay, all right, already much better in terms of like, okay, we're somewhere closer to the anatomy of Mona Lisa here. Okay, let's go with this one. I think this one actually gives us the strongest contrast. Okay, and if we want to, there's a little bit of lip from the dog being squished up on like a surface here. So I'm actually going to try to remove that lip, that kind of like, you know, he's cute. Don't get me wrong. He's got that cute fold in his face, but I know that's from like leaning on your leg or whatever. So this is going to be a lot easier for interpretation wise if we can just get rid of any kind of those like an anatomical effects, especially when it comes to distorting the face or the body shape. So there you go. We've gen filled that out, and now we have a pretty clean face shape and neckline. If I wanted to, I can actually come in, select all of this stuff, and start to move it around. You can see that it keeps the background elements though. So, but it will let me kind of get an idea of how much lower I can bring this neck though. Nah, I'm just going to keep it as is. I think this is fine. So we'll go ahead and merge that all together again. Select this. And now we're going to try that exact same thing that we did earlier, but this time with a much better character reference in terms of like the anatomy here, or at least interpreting the anatomy. Look at this bash. You nailed it with this one. This one got it right, and it's probably because of the black hair. But let's go ahead and grab this one here, and let's go back to the prompt that I had earlier, the one that we saw that failed. Oh my God, you guys are going nuts. Okay, this is the one that failed here. Now I'm going to paste this new image in there and submit that. The other solution here, and this is really more for the advanced stuff, is to actually remove the background entirely. That will lower the amount of style effect that has on the final product. But look at this. Look at this. It did it right this time. It not only added like kind of like little small hair bits and stuff from, you know, just looking at, you know, medieval women of this era or whatever, but it's a lot less photo bashy. There's a little bit here, but we have reasons why there's necklines. There's clean like collars and things. It's a little better. It's not perfect. It's a little better, but The dog is holding a cat. Kind of. Yeah, he's kind of a blurry cat there. That's true. But you could see that because we have the character reference set to 100 now, we can actually drop that a little bit to hopefully merge some things together a bit more. So let's do 75 and see what we get off of that. All right, let's see what we got here. So by dropping the character weight to 75, we definitely got still some photo bash effect, that's for sure. I think it's now just the painterly styles starting to mix in are definitely kind of where I'm thinking at least my head is about where the errors are happening. But we have a lot of funky things going on. So let me try one more thing here, because you see here, we'll look at the successful ones. The Mona Lisa, but reimagined as an anthropomorphic dog. That is super key, is that we're not using anything in the prompts to make it anthro at all. But you guys are. So let's try that really quick. Let's do, she is a dog-like anthropomorphic. I did not spell that correctly. Anthropomorphic. Medieval woman walking the streets, or walking in a medieval market. And then submit that. Oh, I must have screwed up the order of these. Hold on. It says here that unrecognized parameters, so that means that I accidentally made one of these a parameter. Hold on. Dog-like, CC, oh, walking. It's here. Medieval. It's in front of the word walking. Got it. Yeah, if you don't use your hyphens correctly, it'll easily bug out and break. Alumsy and all the bashes, though, 0. That's so cute. We're a little closer, but we're still getting some strong photo bash effect. So I'm going to move on from this one. I guess the main lesson here is that if you are using character referencing and you're photo bashing like this, yeah, especially necklines will be where it's like the determining like difference between the image that you have and the final result of what you're getting. Because look, this is great. This one on riding the horse is the Renaissance Huskies is that's really cute, 0. But look at this. We're still getting that hard Photoshop line on the bottom here. Okay. So what if we just tried to get this to get Photoshop to fix it for us and then reuse this image? Okay. So I'll try this one more time. We'll come into the Photoshop here, hit new. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that photo bash line. A lot of times when I'm doing projects, I will end up with hard lines, hard gradients especially. And you can see we got some nice fur coming up here, but then it's like a hard selection. It's just someone just grabbed a, like a eraser tool and was very, very lazy about it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this whole area up here, include some of the frills from the white here, and come back down and select basically like a collar, right? I'm going to select a little more into here. There we go. And what I'm going to do is, again, not write anything into Photoshop. I'm just going to gen fill it, and we're going to see how well it merges these two concepts together, just right off the bat. The important thing is, and this is really the key difference between what I was doing before and what I'm doing now. I'm working with a generated image right now, Beforehand, I was not. I was working on 2 real life photos, one a painting of the Mona Lisa and the other one a real photo of a dog. Both of these images are like, because they're in the same generated image, are generated imagery, which character referencing is way better at using than just necessarily traditionally drawn stuff. So we have a little bit of furry overlap here, which is good. I think the first one gives us probably the closest to the effect we want, where we want a nice clean neckline to represent where the neck of the dog is, right? And I think this is actually pretty decent, but I want to come in and kind of add a little more fuzz to this area right here. Really trying to reinforce that this is a natural blend from humanoid shoulders to a dog head. Okay. And then I will select, let's do whichever one has a shadow is what I'm aiming for. You see this little bit of shadow here? That shows influence between these two things, and it will reduce the photo bash effect significantly if there's, realistic shadow and hair overlap on this stuff. Okay, so let's go with this one. We'll just go with this one. And then I'll answer your question there, note, and copy this, bring it back over to VC Create. Yeah, this is great. This is really great. You guys are doing a great. the dog horse. Oh my god. Wow. All right, so we'll grab this one here. So let's see what it does just with this. Riding a horse. And I'll do one with style raw as well. Motorcycle dog is winner so far, in my opinion. Feel free to post your winners, by the way. Whichever one's your favorite images, we'll do that next. All right, so you can see here with riding a horse, again, it's not going to see the anthropomorphic stuff without us really encouraging these results. William Shakespeare is a dog. Okay, you know who this is, right? Like, this is Wishbone. Yeah, exactly. Lizzie got it right. This is Wishbone. You've made Wishbone. So let me just reinforce this. Let's see, a dog-like. Let's do a dog-like anthro woman riding a horse. So let's see if it understands the word anthro. The bunny. This is the worst version of Watership Down you've ever seen. The one where they're all realistic human bunnies. The Labrador Doodle Retriever. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot less photo bash than before. Nice. Oh my god, it added the horse in the head instead. I don't know what's going on. Wow, okay. A Mona Lisa, but reimagined the anthropomorphic dog. The dog is walking through a medieval marketplace dressed in iconic medieval Renaissance clothing. So the more words you guys are adding, the more it's leaning the results towards those things, and it's looking so good. So much better than my little photo bash that we were doing here. Because if we look at what image Lizzie was using, it's not the photo bash anymore. It's the one that I made. And it's so much better. Because she's doing the right combination of things. She's mixing all the prompts that are encouraging these results, and then giving us a and then using that as the character reference. If we now did this with Niji6, for example, I'm very curious if we get a similar effect or a worse effect, because this is basically going to be a determiner for me. Now that we know that we got one that works really, really well, I usually hop over to V6 or Niji6 just to see. But this is, here it is. Dog-like anthro riding on a horse. And it did it right this time. It did it right. Just because we were a little more descriptive. No longer is there a horse head on the dog, but we got really good transitions between the head and the bodies on all of these. Yes, yes. And I love how some of them are like a studded collar, like for a dog, but it's like studded in the same way the vest is. It's so clever. Like, that's so fun. Yeah, and it made it an actual horse this time. It's great. Okay. Now that we know that it works in V6, we also can see that it works in Niji6 as well. So it's very photo bashy on the top right. Not so much, but it definitely didn't do a good job merging these. That's a little better. That one's probably the best out of them all. It has the nice collar, the transition is down to the cleavage, all that kind of stuff is right. So as right as that it's ever gonna be. I really do like the V6 ones though, because it's just incorporating all these lifelike, real things of the fur, especially patterns of fur, is just amazing to see AI kind of do its thing with it. So yes. Oh, this is really cute. Ombre gradient color blend. Nice. Cool. Cool. I like these. But you can see just how photo bashed this looks. Like, look at that. Look how photo bashed that looks. All these are pretty rough. This one is from Really Smart. Goddess Relaxing. See, there's no reference of the Anthro dog, so it's doing its best, but it really helps to just be as descriptive as you need to be inside of Midjourney. While in Photoshop beta, it's really about how little you do and more about how much you draw, how much you actually manipulate the imagery before you start generating things. If you guys got any questions or anything for me, feel free to ask it inside of VC text. It is certainly true that with this stream in particular, with all the pets and stuff, I just love seeing little bits of your all's lives. Honestly, it's so cool to just be able to make things together like this. I have one more pet to show. It's my dog Cooper. Cooper is my family favorite. Everyone loves him. He's easily the most likable dog or the most likable animal that I have. And I say that because he is a massively spoiled ham. Like he gets everything he wants. So I saved him for the last part here because everyone tends to kind of go ham for him. But I'll grab every picture of Cooper that I got in here. Are these all? Yeah, I'll include one with his brother too and see what you guys can do with that. Yeah, should be good. All right. I'll you know what? I'll actually post this in VC text for you guys so that it's a little easier for us to pull up these images moving forward. All right. Here's my dog Cooper. He's a butterball of a dog. Super cute. He's there was only one time that we need to actually address Cooper being actually proper bat, and we call it by the way, his full name is Special Agent Dale Cooper. He is another Twin Peaks reference in my family. But he's the only dog that will get food aggressive, but not for any food. He needs it to be specifically corn cobs. For some reason that dog just goes rabid when he has a corn cob in his mouth. So here's an angry picture of Cooper, upset about someone holding his corn cob. So it's I feel like you guys could have some fun referencing especially angry Cooper. But for the most part, like, you're gonna see a couple of photos, like the one in the basket here, right? This is actually from when I was in the bus when I was traveling, and the dogs would be would fight over who gets to sit in the laundry basket when we drive. That was the big thing for my pets, was whoever got the laundry basket was the lucky one. And you could see that even Ziggy likes to be the laundry dog. And they'll it's the only time they ever got like in tussles with each other was over this stupid laundry bag. So yeah, there you go. That's a little bit of my life there for you. But if I now grab a picture of Cooper here, I'm curious what you guys are gonna do. Are you guys blending things already? Oh no, look at the screaming face. I'm gonna grab this angry Cooper here. Okay. And let's just first prompt the dog just to see what it gets us. I'll do style raw. Let's see how angry the dog is. Look at this. It's a very jumpy dog. An awkward family photo bomb with a jumping dog in the frame. Perfect. I love it. And now if I remix this one, and then we'll do, let's put Victor in there. Hyphen Victor. Let's see what we get. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so with dog it's fine, but with blending, what did you guys blend together here? Angry Cooper and the iguana. Oh no. I should have known with Rhapsody. Oh no. Okay, and there's a remix with Victor jumping into the frame, being all weird and awkward. Yeah, it's all Victors all the way down. Corn cob, Victor. Thank you, Ancient. I appreciate that. Oh no. So you can see here that when we just did dog, it's close enough. It's not really him, but it's close enough in terms of getting like, okay, we have a dog. There's just so little information inside of the character reference alone. So like what we need to do is let's try to blend all of these images together that doesn't include Ziggy. There's one picture that has Ziggy in it. So I'm going to try to pick only the pictures that have Cooper alone in it. And we'll try an image blend of just those 4. And this is really where I think I'm going to be able to make a full character turnaround with Cooper. We'll see. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of background information in these photos, so we don't really know if this is going to work. But we'll see. Angry Cooper as well. Now we're going to blend all these together and see what we get. Portrait of a dog with white and big speckled coat. Yeah. All right. It's actually a little closer. Like it's actually pretty close in that top left one. So, oh my God, he's on a basket and he's floating over a cornfield. Nice. That's great. So let's try this out here. I'm going to grab this one picture. You can see the blend here is pretty cool. Like it lets us grab a bunch of arbitrary aspects of all the backgrounds that I had from the national park that we were in to the kind of drab concrete floor of another photo, mixed all that together, gave us a gravel road in front of an environment that looks a lot like where it was taken. Kind of, I mean, that's mind-blowing, actually. So we have Angry Cooper. Let me grab the one picture of Cooper that I think will be useful here. This one right here. Okay. This is like one of my favorite poses of Cooper. It probably gives us the most information on him, but it's not complete. We have this collar that's in the way. So let's first do this. Let's bring this into Photoshop here. I promised photo bashing in this stream. Damn it, we're going to do some photo bashing. So let's go ahead and open up tablet, make a new one, paste this. And now I'm just going to come into here and select whatever's obstructing the character pose. Okay. You'll see why I'm doing this in just a second. I just want to make sure there's no like black leg on the dog, you know what I mean? Because it's going to see that black strip of high contrast, pixels and stuff and go like, okay, what is this? So, okay, there you go. It's now gone. That first one's pretty legit too. Awesome. Okay. So we have this cleaned up. I'm going to come in, merge it together, and then I'm going to see if it's going to let me do a decent object selection of trying to get Cooper out of this image here. Yep, did a pretty good job. All right, let's mask that. All right, that's pretty decent. He's a bit scraggly, so that works. There's a little bit of some wonkiness down here. Not really too worried about that. But what I'm going to do is collapse that all down. And now let's try to do a turnaround sheet of my dog Cooper. Okay. So I'll come into VC Create. Oh, that's super close. All right. I got Cooper here. All isolated out. Not that great, by the way. Like he's got some haloing going on here. But is that my style code? Yes, it is. Anytime I can tell my style code is because it's just so starkly minimalist compared to everybody else's. Okay, so I'm gonna paste this here. I'm not gonna do it as a character reference. Just should I? Yeah, let's try it. Screw it. Full body. Full body turnaround of a dog, of a white dog, speckled white dog, AR32. Oh, thank you, Zero. I really do like my style code a lot. It's really cool. And it's all because I didn't rank anything. I only ranked 44 images before personalization came out. So my personalization is very lean in a certain direction. The thing I did wrong here was I wrote AR instead of Sierra. There we go. Most people like their own most. I will note that. I think it's because they feel like it's theirs. They own it. But then as soon as they start ranking more images, they realize they don't own it anymore. Okay, look at this. So, full body turnaround on a speckled white dog. Compared to the original, pretty close. Pretty close. If I really wanted to get this as accurate as possible, I would re-roll this a bunch. But to be honest, I mean, this is pretty much spot on when it comes to, yeah, like there's some, I don't know why you up-res the fourth one there. It's a bit weird. Okay. So I up-res this one because it gave us the back of the dog, right? Ancient already. Or it's amazing how Ancient can make one picture and it just makes it so much weirder, just so fast. Okay, so I want to scale this up though. So let's first do a 2 times of this, and then I'm also gonna do a 2 times of the one that of the horror cat dog thing that's happening on Lizzie's here. Oh, sorry, second serve of noodles. My bad. I think this is Lizzie's image of the original. Yes. So, what we're going to do, because the telltale, the telltale. Let's wait for my images to upres here, and then we'll have a full turnaround of my dog, because this is really where I think if you do this right, you know your animal, you know your pet really well. This is actually a really great exercise for you to recognize discipline of your character designs. You're not going to be happy with an animal that doesn't look like yours, right? So having to re-roll this stuff can be both very frustrating, but also very rewarding as soon as you do nail the right, aesthetic and stuff for your dog. My dog has kind of like a speckled face, right? So you could see that when I zoomed out of this, because there's no speckled face on any of these examples, none of the rest of them will either, even with the character reference in there. So, and I love the surfing dogs, by the way. I'll get into that in a minute. But if I go up to this one here, you can see I have the speckles in the feet. But if I just hit variation subtle and then submit that, we should be a lot closer to getting us something that looks like him because we have the composition right. We have a front and a back, which is a lot actually. Just getting that, you won't get horror show stuff like what Ancient's doing here with the stretched dog legs. So let's take a look here. I would probably say that we're getting closest with this third one right here. Now we lose the back of the dog, which is a bit of a bummer. We do have his over the shoulder though, like a look over. So I'm gonna say this is worth it. Let's up-res this one, because there's a couple speckles on the face, and that should be all we need to keep going. Okay, couple speckles here. I can now in paint with a different photo of my dog to reinforce this. So I'm gonna grab a different photo. This is gonna be one where he's sitting and it's really looking at his face. Okay. We have this one here. And now I am simply going to change the character weight to match, sorry, not the character weight, the character reference with this new photo. And then I'm going to select everything that I think is wrong based on, like, just by, I can look at him right now. He's laying at my feet. And I will simply select what isn't right. So he's got I'm going to say that this image is reversed. So like he's got a big brown spot on one side and there's a white face on the other. Okay. So I'm going to go with this, select this like this. Okay. And then the brown is already on this side of the face. So I'm going to leave that as is. And everything else is pretty good, actually. He's got a big spot on his back and the rest of it's white. So I'm going to lower the amount of spot that's here. And he has a big fluffy white butt. So I'm going to get rid of all this brown that's here. Okay. And we'll submit this with the new character reference. And because there's no reference of his butt inside of this, we'll probably have to do it again just to get the tail right, you know? Are you merging my dogs together? Kind of looks like it. Cooper's having a good time skateboarding. All right. Okay. You can see we still have brown dominating the face, right? But at least I have a white snoot now on the bottom right here. I'm going to up-res that one. And then just basically I'm doing like carving. Like I'm just kind of coming in here and bit by bit by bit preserving the stuff I like. Okay. And the more that I'm selecting, the more, or at least the closer that I make my selections, the more likely that it will do something else than what is in the image. If I do like a really big, like marquee, like a really big selection, there's a very good chance that I'll end up with what is it, with like an exaggerated version or an upscale or large sized version of what I had before. So the only thing I'm doing now is I'm removing and brown from the prompt so that it just says a white speckled coat. And we'll see if I need to get rid of the character reference or if I need to otherwise pick a different photo as the reference. And then if all that doesn't work, then I can just do a straight image blend where I am forcing the image by just linking it in there to be at least 50% of the result. So let's see what we got here. Okay, much better, much better. Okay, so I would probably say that yeah, we're gonna go with the fourth one here. Okay. All right. So at this point, it's not perfect. I could just keep going and force you guys to watch me re-roll until I got most of my dog in here. This is actually pretty good. He doesn't have a white butt though. That missing white butt though is frustrating. So I'm gonna do this. We're gonna do a little bit of additional photoshopping here, and I'm gonna grab his butt. Do not take that out of context, please. Let's grab this, and I'm bringing it into Photoshop. I could just grab it here in Photoshop, but I'm just gonna do it here really quick. I have it as a snip, right? I just snipped his butt, okay? And I'm going to paste this snip here. Okay. White fluffy butt. And where is it? There it is. Okay. And I'm going to do one more very region. And I'll paste this now into the front of the prompt. Remove brown speckled coat. I'm just going to say a character sheet of a white dog, because I'm really trying to remove any sort of referencing. And then I'll just get rid of the character reference for now. Rid of it entirely. Okay. Yes, I imagine so. I'm not surprised by this at all, Zero. So I am going, because literally everything Ancient is doing is transcribing what I'm saying. So I'm expecting it. All right. So what I've done here is I've set this image to where most of this image, like 50% of it right now, is the image, just the butt of my dog, and then the rest of it is full body turnaround of a character, a white dog. Not gonna risk butt stuff in public. Yes. But I'm going to set the image weight pretty high. I'm not maxed out. I'm going to set it to 2.2. And the reason I'm doing this is just because I really, really want to preserve as much of what's in that image as possible, including the way his fur flows, like the composition of the composition of the fur is what I'm aiming for. So I'm going to do an image blend instead of a reference. We'll see what we get off of this. You know what? It's Marley again. Oh, Marley. I love Marley's like little green ponytail. It's really well captured in the fourth one though. Look at this. It did it. It did it great. Okay. So I would basically say that wow, it did a really good job actually. That's literally my dog's butt. Let's go for the third one here. Okay. And just for comparison, there's my dog's butt. There's the butt that we got. White tail, white backing. We have a little bit, we need to make some more white here. Like he's got some way too much fluff on that leg here. Like you can see that it made it a bit brown here. But for the sake of demo, I think this is really good. We've gotten real far with this so far. Let's go ahead now and expand this out. So I'll hit custom zoom. Because we have preserved as much as we can about, the way the dog looks, let's get rid of all the images that we can, because they're just going to muddle things up at this point. Full body turnaround of a full body character sheet of a white dog. We'll get rid of white dog. We don't need that either. Just full body character sheet. And then we will remove the image weight because there is no image. Grabbing butt does work. There's a couple ones that, depending on the context of the verbiage that you use, will work. I mean, the most well-known one I know is from David, where he was like, Dick Tracy finally works as a V4 or whatever. You don't have to worry about like doing weird workarounds to get Dick Tracy to show up in your prompts. Al Gore was a big problem for me. I was prompting for Al Gore for a while before doing image prompting. And now Al Gore works fine. But if you look here, the full body turnaround is where we can introduce plenty of errors, plenty of problems and all that stuff. But what we're mostly looking for is unique angles. So we don't want repetition at this point. If we lower the stylize, the more likely we are going to get repetitions, but we're also more likely to get something that we want. frankly, this second photo is actually really, really close to him. I just need to clean up a little bit of the butt that's here. Like that face is like perfect. This top left face, awesome. Almost exactly like Cooper. But what if instead of full body character turnaround, we did something a little more interesting? What if we did multiple expressions? Okay. And then I'm going to hit submit just on multiple expressions. We could also do multiple action poses. And we'll see what we get off of those two. Multiple expressions tends to work best with humans. Like any sort of humanoid, it'll tend to give you a close-up, right? But you'll notice that look at the action poses, way better for animals, which makes sense. There's just a lot more information on that. We have him running, we have him jumping, we have him up and down, we have him standing on his little hind legs, begging for food. You have him mid-jump. Every one of these action poses are really, really, really useful because it means that you can quickly reference them in future prompts. So let's just do this. I have this one here. We could zoom out even more. We could in paint as well. Like for example, this is actually really clutch. If you have a bunch of negative space here that you don't need for your action poses, just boom, 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 boom. Select this and just rerun the prompt. It will most likely just give you more useful poses in that way. Let's see what we get. There's also, you can switch the Niji as well. Switching the Niji gives you more reliable turnarounds, but we're working with a human, like a real life dog. We're not working with a cartoon character. But look at this. By simply reprinting the prompt as an in paint, we got more angles of a dog that is kind of like him, right? And all these can be useful for us. I mean, almost all of them can be. Some of them are just straight horror shows like this. Whatever this, again, we're getting a lot of cat dogs, okay? We're getting a lot of butt on. No, I'm not going to say that. We're just getting a lot of butts. Okay, all right. Let's grab one of these. It's so cute. This is great. But we'll grab one of the action pose ones here. And I'll do the third one. And now, if we wanted to... Oh, God. Hold on. I didn't notice the bizarre one on the bottom left here. I'm just going to grab one that doesn't have that. Hold on. Just because I don't feel like in-painting it right now. I'm just going to go with the second one here for now. Not risking butt stuff. Yep, exactly. Exactly. Ancient's got that one right. He's not risking this. Okay. All right. But what I want to show you guys here is the reason why we have all these poses now is because say at least in my position, if I was like in a visual effects job or whatever, anything entertainment movies, say someone's like, all right, we're going to make a parody of Wishbone. It's Wishbone, but whatever the spin is. I'm basically thinking like we would back at Robot Chicken. Okay, we're going to make a Wishbone skit, but what are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? You know, like what's our spin on it? Is he out of drug rehab, or like what's the bit we're going for here? And then, you know, you basically like bounce around different ideas until one just lands, like one just really, really hits the room and everyone finds it funny. That usually ends up being the bit that ends up in the show, right? So for this one, what we want to do is we want to see, like, if I remember the intro for Wishbone, right? It's a bunch of just the dog like looking up and he's like, what's this? What's that? What's this? And he's kind of running around a little bit. He's wearing a little hat, that kind of thing. What we can do is we can go to YouTube. I'm not going to do this on this browser. I'm going to go to YouTube and I'm going to grab a still or two from the Wishbone intro. Yeah, it's actually all my audio is borked. I can definitely, even the Wishbone intro is screwy for me. So what I'm seeing here, let's grab this from, and grab this just stills from it instead. It's a little better. So let's do this one. All right, I'll grab this, copied, and then I'm going. There you go. You got the whole intro there. Thank you for that, Lizzie. I'm not clicking anything that has spoilers on it, even if it's from Ancient. Okay, so I'm going to open that up here, and you can see that we have basically a dog looking through a telescope. Okay, we can very easily get Midjourney to tell us what. I know it's safe if it's coming from you. Okay, it's also it's just silly. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have Midjourney describe this image so that maybe we can get a better idea of like what it thinks is actually happening in this, because there's a lot of weird stuff that's in this image. Okay, including the unrealistic forced perspective of the dog eye. Like what we're gonna do is we're basically gonna hit the Imagine All button on here. Let's see. Oh no, actually risking butt stuff. Oh no. Okay. So what we want to see here is, does it understand, one, that this is Wishbone, right? It doesn't. I don't think it does. I don't see anything here that says the word Wishbone in it, which is perfectly fine. But now we're going to look for the one that has the closest to like the intent being matched. So I would say all these are really focusing on the telescopic element in the front, but this is the one that doesn't. This is the one I think is probably the best for trying to recreate this scene. So now that I have, something that's like largely a bunch of like word vomit, honestly, like there's a lot of stuff we don't need in here. Oh, it's made by Adobe Illustrator and Procreate. None of that stuff is really actually useful for what we're doing. But what we can do now is grab Cooper, the generated version of Cooper, and the Wishbone intro image. We have these two images now as links. I am simply going to now re-roll this result here, but I'm going to add the generated version of Cooper as the character reference. And then I am going to take the actual image from the series and paste it to the front of the prompt. And I'll add the code IW3 to really, really enforce that I want it to be in as close to exact that composition as possible. Okay. This should make my dog looking through a telescope, basically. His nose became a telescope. It's very close, though. It's very, very close. We just need to. Ooh, look at this. This is just off of Lizzie without any words. Oh, sorry, without any imagery. Okay, I'm really trying to match the composition here, though. Okay, you can see I'm very close already. But now I'm going to drop the character weight, because we have that at max right now. Let's drop the character weight to something like 15, and maybe even 0 if we need to. But the Wishbone, the Jack Russell Terrier, stands on his hind legs. I still don't know if it knows what Wishbone is. You know what I mean? I would be a little hesitant of that. Oh my God, it did it. Oh my God. All right, so look at this. The fourth one here. It's very, very close because we have the image weight set so high. It's actually looking at some of like pixel, like the lower resolution of the original show. It's looking at the text that has the footsteps in the background. It even has a close-up of his eye in the telescope, So that's really, really cool. The telescope makes no sense. But now, if I hit, vary region, I just switch the character weight back up, and we can remove any errors from Cooper's design here. Okay, so like all of his hips and stuff are the wrong color. So I can now select all this. He's got a bit of a collar here. Only half of his face is actually painted in like that. And then we'll try to fix the telescope a little bit, even though the character reference is probably going to bork this up pretty good. That's okay. It's certainly going to bork it up, right? But let's go ahead and just submit this, and we'll see what we get. So ending this stream is going to be coming to a close, but ending it with turning my beloved dog Cooper into Wishbone is like the perfect way to end this. Honestly, like look at this picture that Lizzie just made. How does she keep outdoing me in the moment? Like it's amazing. It's amazing to me. That like it's just her prompts, her phrasing is just so spot on. Okay, Fungi Mancer, screw you, okay? No one clarified that to me for weeks, okay? It's wax on, wax off from the movie. I kept saying wash on and wash off, and no one corrected me, okay? I know Kinky told me, she's like, I just didn't want to interrupt her. Please interrupt me if I'm making myself sound like a jackass. Please. That would be great. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at what we got off of this. You could see that because the character weight as... Oh, wait. Is this the right one? There it is. Okay. You could see it definitely tried to fix the lenses and stuff, but it just didn't really get where we needed it to go. It didn't really change much, honestly. We probably need to remove the character weight. We probably need to... lean us more towards images of actual telescopes. Like look what second serve of Noodles did here. He removed the telescope and basically did it as very region to try to get it to be a more realistic telescope, and then we'll come back and in-paint that in later. So sorry, I didn't mean to misgender you there. You did a great job on this. In terms of the approach is right in terms of fix the telescope first and then go for the reflection in the lens with a second character reference. All right. So at this point, Kinky's already given the prompt battles. Be sure to check out the other events here at Midjourney this weekend. We do have an after party that we do at on my Discord. And you guys are welcome to all come and hang out and chat inside of the server. So if you want to come on stage basically and talk with us directly, me and the other server members, I don't put any obligation on anybody to come, but I always appreciate it when you guys do. So please come by. You can join off of VC Text. Kinky just linked it if you guys want to check that out. Otherwise, there will be a Phantasma related release next week. It is just a preview. It's not a full comic or anything like that. But I'm very, very excited for it because it's going to be attached to an interview with one of the comic artists on Reddit. So there will probably be about 4 to 5 preview stills. So don't expect like a full-fledged story or anything like that just yet. We are very, very hard at work working on that stuff. But the main thing is that you guys are going to get your first previews, and I won't spoil anything. I think you guys are going to be very happy with it next week. So thank you guys so much for coming to the stream today. And thank you so much to Kinky and AC for co-hosting with me today, and for especially Kinky for linking everything just now. I really appreciate that. And you guys have a good night. Thank you so much for coming. This was great. Good night, everybody. See ya.
Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. thank you so much for joining, everybody. Thank you so much. Real Smart, Rhapsody, Fungi Mancer. I hope to see you guys. Felix, everybody. I can read you all, but just come on to the server. I would love to talk to you guys directly. Thank you. Brandon Mack, Note and AI, Gallifrey. No, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Have a good night, guys.